I am a Liverpudlian, and I come from the Spion Cup. I love to sing, I love to shout, I get thrown out quite a lot. We support the team that's dressed in red. It's a team that you all know. It's a team that we call Liverpool, and to glory we will go. We've won the league.
Hello one and all, and welcome to the Plastic Scousers podcast. My name is Matt Simpson, and this is my co-host, the man who was the inspiration behind Tom Hanks' character in 2004 film The Terminal. It's Owen Collins.
Yes, thank you very much, Matt. That film was indeed based on a time I became stateless while I was travelling back from Luton Airport. I was there. I was only there for an hour at first, but when I found out my passport had been revoked and I was no longer a British citizen, so I was left to live in Luton Airport for the best part of a month. I ate a Burger King every night. I read every single book on sale in the little W.H. Smiths, and I got addicted to crap Starbucks coffee. It was quite something. And then I think it was Steven Spielberg came to me and he said, I want to make a film based on your life. I said, Steve, it'll be an odd one because, as you know, this happened to me about 20 years ago when I was 6 years old. And he said, yeah, might need to update the age of the main character. I said, yeah, I think it's a bad image to be showing a child drinking that much coffee. And Tom Hanks got the part, and I thought this would be cool. I'll get to meet Tom Hanks. Maybe he'll want to go method. He'll want to spend some time with me, get inside my head. But I never heard from him, and I still haven't. And he's not answered any of my calls and any of my emails, or he didn't even open the door to me when I was outside his house that rainy Wednesday evening back in Beverly Hills. But I do have instead several letters from what I am assured are the best and most keen solicitors in California. Which haven't been signed by him, but have been signed by his legal representatives, which I think is just as good.
As the season ploughs on into the vast blackness of winter, we here at the Plastic Scousers are here to bring you some merriment in these times of rubbish weather, shorter days, and generally just being a bit too cold. There may only be 5 games in the month of November, but we'll be dissecting each one with all the usual insight and irreverence you know and love. There'll be games, there'll be goals, and there'll be plenty of talking points throughout, as well as addressing a, quite frankly, bizarrely positive international break for the Reds.
As well as all of that, I am challenged on my knowledge of something we've discussed on several occasions over the last few years in another of Matt's devilish quizzes, and it's all kicking off at Melwood as we once again organise the fight that is breaking out amongst LFC players past and present. But first, let's break away from our usual formula and start with the football and a tough game away at the Emirates.
Indeed, against arguably this season's surprise package, in that they've started pretty well under their new manager.
Yeah, they're not shit. A revitalised Arsenal side under the new stewardship of Unai Emery, who of course is a manager we have come up against in the past and had reason to curse in the past, as it was him that masterminded Seville's perhaps unwarranted victory over us in the 2016 Europa League final.
Yes, indeed, and he got his side. He's got his side playing pretty well. They've been in the middle of quite a long unbeaten run at this point.
Yeah,
and it was
quite a winning run as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've won a lot of games up to this point, and then as we go through the month, they drew quite a few more. But they're unbeaten. Yeah, they're unbeaten run that stretched through the month and into December. So remarkable and playing well, despite there being some obvious weaknesses in the side. It's fair play to them. So. Yeah, knew it was going to be a tough game away at the Emirates. Always is. Never, we rarely have, rarely have a dull game at this stadium. Last year 3-3. The year before that was it was 3-0 and we had 3-3, and the year before that was 4-3 on Klopp's first game as his first full season in charge.
Hell of a game.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I mean, that was actually not a much easier game than the scoreline made it look, that one. But we've discussed that. We won't go back again.
No, but what we will discuss is as we look at the first fixture, the first lineup. Only one real notable interest is we see Fabinho starting again, who'd started a couple of games prior to this and establishing himself in what is otherwise a pretty familiar lineup for the season.
Yeah, I mean, Naby Keita and Jordan Henderson both still unavailable. So it's a kind of not exactly a makeshift midfield, but I think it's the first time these three have started together. Fabinho, Gini Wijnaldum and James Milner. Yeah, interesting one. But you've got to say he's earned it by this point, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, he's taken time to bed in. We've seen it with Klopp does this with players. You see that Andy Robertson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, even Naby Keita to a certain extent this season as well. He doesn't throw them in at the deep end straight away. He gives them time to bed in and settle into the side and learn the system that they need to be playing. So,
yeah, absolutely. Like you say, Oxlade-Chamberlain is a perfect example. He was, one of our most important players by the end of last season, and yet had a dreadful start to the season. And I think it's fair. I wouldn't say Fabinho had a dreadful start to the season, but he just had a completely anonymous one, really, didn't he? And let's hope he goes the same way by the end of this year.
Exactly. Yes, but otherwise, fairly familiar lineup. Usual back five, usual front three. And so let's jump straight into the game. It was tough. This is a tough match, I think.
We were playing a very difficult side, as we've said. We didn't really get going. We had our chances, but it was quite, I'd say muted, but we couldn't really get a foothold. We couldn't dominate, which is not surprising.
No.
Let's be honest.
I mean, Arsenal, to their credit, played very well.
They did play very well, very good defence, which is, of course, something Arsenal was famous for, or used to be back in the day. But as we said, Emery sort of bringing the confidence and the belief back to the Emirates, which hasn't been there for ages. You'd probably say that Arsenal were the better side in the first half.
Yeah, I think they edged it. They created more of the chances. They missed a couple of really good opportunities. They've got, if you look at the side, I mean, they've got serious quality up there. Lacazette, Aubameyang, Ozil, Mkhitaryan, Lucas Torreira. I mean, they're a good side, and we never really got, Izzy never really got going. I mean, it was, thank God we have a decent defence who stopped one or two good opportunities. Van Dijk, the Colossus, as he's fast becoming front runner for player of the season for us at the rate he's going.
Absolutely.
But there was one moment, a controversial moment in the first half that could have put us in the lead.
Yeah, it was a Sadio Mane goal that never was. Ruled out for offside. You don't think it was, Matt?
It wasn't. It just wasn't. He was behind the ball when Firmino hit the shot. So basically, the ball's come over the top. I think it's been a deflection and a delivery over the top that's led to Firmino and Mane both running onto it. Bernardino comes out. Firmino gets his foot to it first, and it cannons off the bar. And then Mane's there to tap it in. He's ruled offside. But when you look at it, once Firmino's touched the ball, Mane's behind it. He can't be offside behind the ball. So, should have said.
You can't be offside behind the ball. I feel that's factually correct, but I'm trying to work it out in my head.
because you've got to be between. You can't. There must somehow be the ball had to have been passed by somebody, and so when that pass is made, if you're behind that pass, how are you offside?
Yeah, no, you are right. I was struggling to visualise it in my head then.
It's from the last player who touched the ball from your team, or the deflection that drives it through. Anyway, it wasn't offside. It was ruled out, and at half-time it was 0-0. And it was frustrating. We just didn't seem to have the fire in us to step up, and we needed a better second-half performance.
No. I would say we largely got one, but we didn't really. We weren't an awful lot better in the second half.
It was a bit better. But Arsenal did look very dangerous. It was only our defence, weirdly, which is something that we're getting more and more used to hearing this season, that kept us in it. But on the hour mark, we make the breakthrough.
Yeah, in unusual circumstances. James Milner scores in itself, not unusual, as Tom Jones would sort of say if he was a fan of James Milner. And we don't know that he isn't, of course.
He must be, surely.
He must be. Who isn't?
Exactly.
I mean, who isn't? Show me someone that's right in the head that isn't a fan of James Milner. And I do believe Sir Tom Jones is right in the head. So
Exactly.
logic equals that. This goal from open play is what we're getting at here. Let's not beat around the bush any longer. James Milner scoring not from a penalty spot. Bit of a collector's item.
Doesn't happen often, does it?
Doesn't happen often. We think it was the very beginning of last season against Hoffenheim that he last did that.
Yeah, I can't think of another time unless you can, Aaron.
I can't, but at the time of recording, it's happened since, which is why I think my mind is clouded by doubt.
Good point, well made.
Which is, but we'll come to that in months to come,
or the next month, indeed.
because indeed. But at the moment, it is a real collector's item, a real curate's egg of a finish. I can't remember who it is has the original shot at Bernd Leno.
It's Mane from the left-hand side sort of cuts in, gets a shot off. It's saved by the keeper and then deflects off Rob Holding and falls kindly to Milner to smash it home.
Yeah, I mean, there's a large degree of good fortune in it, which, fortune favours the brave, etc., etc., etc. You can't win a title without a little bit of luck, etc., etc., etc. It's, I wouldn't say it's unwarranted, because I think we've clearly matched Arsenal because we're drawing with them at this point. But yeah, there is a little bit of chance in it, good chance. The sort of, I wouldn't say it's a mistake by Leno, but it's not a, the rebound doesn't go where it perhaps should have done. It deflects off Holding. It falls directly and exactly to Milner. A lot of stars aligned, but he didn't seem to mind. He absolutely buried it home, and we are perhaps against the run of play 1-0 up.
We are, yeah. But unsurprisingly, afterwards, Arsenal came at us, and whilst we looked like we could break and score, it was not necessarily a back to the wall job, but very much a defence first kind of thing. And I think we just wanted to see the game out. I mean, unfortunately, we didn't hold out. And about 10 minutes for the end of the game, Alisson comes out to try and claim a ball that's sort of, in between two defenders, sort of in the air. He doesn't get there. Lacazette manages to nick it in front of him. To be fair to Lacazette, it's a wonderful finish. He doesn't have a lot of options, but he manages to find the outside, curl the ball beautifully in, but over and across Alisson, and equalise for Arsenal in probably what was in the end a fair result.
It's not the best moment of Alisson's career, but it's hard to feel too aggrieved because, like you say, if we'd left London with 3 points, it would have been wonderful, and we would have been delighted. But it would have been maybe unwarranted. So it's kind of, you don't want to have too much of a go at Alisson because it's sort of what the game deserved, but it's also a bit annoying because you do feel he could have done better in the build up to the goal. Yeah,
that's true.
That's my analysis there.
So in the end, game finishes at 1 apiece. Fair result, I think, in the end of the day. And, not necessarily 2 points dropped in the grand scheme of things away at Arsenal, this season especially. I think that's a fairly decent point.
Yeah, point gained rather than 2 points dropped. You've always got to look on the positive when you get anything from an away tie at one of what is still the big six. And it means that at this point of the season, we've travelled away to Spurs, travelled away to Arsenal. We've travelled away to Chelsea.
Yeah, we've done all the London clubs now, all the big London clubs now.
Yeah, and we've come away with 5 points out of 9, and unbeaten. So, well, of course, unbeaten. You can get 5 points and lose a game, could you? Now I think about it. So, you'd have taken that at the beginning of the season, wouldn't you?
It's not
5
bad,
points out of those 9. Yeah. And again, like the way we equalised against Chelsea, I know that was them leading and us equalising, but it felt like a point gained, not 2 points lost. So, I mean, that positivity is important as much as the actual points. It's that sense of momentum, that sense of confidence, because, you're going to need it in a title chase. Because I think it is a title chase rather than a title race. It's basically who can catch and maybe overtake Man City, as opposed to who can Man City possibly overtake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. And I think momentum's important. Keeping the pressure on, and every point matters, especially in games where you don't necessarily play well.
Yes.
And speaking of games where you don't play well, let's talk about our worst performance and result of the season.
Yeah, talking of 2 points dropped. Good God, it was over to Serbia and the Serbian capital, Belgrade, and the Red Star Stadium, or as it is in Serbian, the Crvena Zvezda.
That was terrible pronunciation.
Yeah, well, in my defence, Matt, I don't speak Serbian, so do it better.
Crvena Zvezda.
Awful.
I think
Totally awful.
That sounded more real, though.
It sounded, but that's because you did it in a Serbian accent.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Well, okay, if you wish.
Yeah, this was dreadful.
I mean, it annoys me to begin with, because why don't we just call them Red Star Belgrade? Because, I know it's Red Star Belgrade in Serbian, but we don't call them like Bayern München, do we? We call them Bayern Munich.
Yeah, true, I suppose. But then Real Madrid is still Real Madrid, so either way.
Yeah, there's a very kind of, we're very selective about which teams we refer to in their native language and which teams we don't. Like Torino instead of Turin, but, can't think of any other examples now.
You didn't think this through, did you?
Well, Dynamo Kiev, instead of Kyiv or what. What? I can't think of any examples now, because every example I can think of is the same in Paris. Paris Saint-Germain is the same in French as it is in English, but
yeah,
I
get your point. Anyway,
good.
Basically,
Matt, I'm just trying to distract from talking about the awfulness of his performance, because, like you said, it was the worst one of the season.
It was. I mean, there's some weird. It was obvious in this game. I think we took it a bit lightly. I think Klopp did. He made a few changes. We saw Adam Lallana in for one of his rare starts now. Daniel Sturridge started, as did Joel Matip. It made a few changes. I mean, it shouldn't completely destabilise the side, but this was not a good performance in a very, what is, let's be fair, an intimidating place to go. But
oh yeah,
this is a game when we beat them 4-0 at Anfield, admittedly in front of none of their fans at all, supposedly. We should be doing better than we do here. I mean, just to kind of, we have to talk about it a bit. In the early stages of the game, you kind of summed up how the game was going to go. Sadio Mane, who was one of the only highlights of the only players to come out with any sort of dignity out of this game, he created a really good opportunity for Daniel Sturridge, who somehow managed to miss basically an open goal from 6 yards. That summed it up, really.
Yeah, that was sort of as good as it got. Like you say, passionate crowd, very, very different atmosphere to Anfield because of that. But we just never really turned up. There was a lot of build-up about this big tunnel you have to walk through to get onto a pitch. This kind of proper, like, hellmouth kind of, entrance way. This kind of, I can't think of the appropriate an anatomical metaphor, but this sort of, from a snug womb of the dressing rooms into the grotesque and fiery hell of actual life. We'll go with that.
Right.
Yeah, it was a difficult atmosphere, and we were never at races. But like you say, Mane's chance early on, I didn't get better than that.
No, I mean, the damage was really done in a sort of 10-minute spell where they were really on their tail, and we, caught us pretty much flat-footed. I mean, they created a number of opportunities, really, and way more than we should be allowing. The midfield was just nowhere to be seen. And there was a quick double header in terms of two quick goals we conceded, both from Milan Pavkov. Firstly, a header from a corner, followed by a bit of a thunderbolt from sort of 25 yards out. And I mean, they couldn't believe their luck at this point. They were 2-0 up against, last year's Champions League finalists, and we were just sort of shell-shocked.
Yeah. And I think this was their first ever time in Champions League group stage, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like a proper kind of party for them anyway, to have such a big team like Liverpool come to town and to be 2-0 up in the first half, just, yeah. Well, it was, they were in dreamland, weren't they? And we were in nightmare town.
Disarray, if you will.
Disarray.
I mean, yeah, there's not a huge amount more because the second half, going in at half time, Klopp rang the changes. He brought on both Gomez and Firmino. Sturridge got the Hercas at Trent Alexander-Arnold. He didn't have a great game. Didn't make a huge amount of difference. I mean, we completely dominated the game after that, but they defended really well. We didn't look like we had any ideas. I don't really know what Adam Lallana offers anymore. In terms of he's meant to be the creative player in this, in that midfield, and did nothing. Eventually was hooked for Divock Origi, the lesser spotted Origi, as I now want to call him.
I mean, when you're getting hooked for Divock Origi, you've put in a bad performance. Full stop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's a horrible away defeat that suddenly makes getting out of this Champions League group very difficult indeed.
Yeah, if we'd won this, we'd have basically been through, I think. I can't remember the exact results going the other way, but, we'd have had 9 points out of 12. 2 games left. I think PSG and Napoli drew this time, so they didn't really get much of an advantage over us losing, either of them, which was lucky for us. But it does make you think that if we'd won that and they'd still drawn, we would be more in the driving seat than Jensen Button, and instead we're having to start having serious doubts about whether we're even going to, still be in the Champions League come New Year's Day.
Yeah, I mean the last 2 fixtures are away in Paris and at home to Napoli, and you're suddenly thinking, God, that home game to Napoli is going to be important, isn't it? So,
yeah, because I mean, going to Paris isn't going to be an easy game. As we will come to discuss later in this podcast. But I think Adam Lallana, like you say, just to focus on that, you don't know what he's for anymore. I don't know what he's for anymore. I've often been a great fan of Adam Lallana. I've defended him a lot in the past few years. And indeed, at one point, I think he was a player who had improved most under Jurgen Klopp. We thought when Klopp came in, he would be one of the first players probably to go. He became a key part of the side, that 26. Not just in the kind of first season when Divock Origi was a key part of the side for crying out loud, but that not last season, but season before, when he kind of basically helped inspire us to get back into the top 4 and back into the Champions League. And he was a really key player for us and for England. And then a really injury blighted spell last year. And he's basically, his entire Liverpool career is on the rocks. And I think that's probably trying to put a positive spin on this. That's one of the best compliments you can pay to Jurgen Klopp and what he's done to our club over the last 3 years, or 3 years and a month as it is now, is that if you stand still for, a period of a few weeks, you get left behind. We've seen Lallana go out injured. I wouldn't say he's come back particularly worse than he was when he went off injured. Obviously, he's not got the fitness, he's not got the sharpness, but the team has, you look at the midfield he was playing in when he, in the end of that 16-17 season, you look at who he's competing for now. He's one of your first names on the team sheet. Now he's not even first name on the bench. And it's the same with Nathaniel Klein at right back. Again, very unlucky with injuries last year, but when he comes back, he was Mr. Dependable. He was, solid. He barely missed a game in Jurgen Klopp's first 2 years, and now he's again struggling to make a matchday squad because we've got 2 players who took that springboard when he was out injured, took that opportunity, kicked on and on and on and on and on, and now are so much further forward of the point where Klein was when he went out injured. It's, as I say, it's a compliment to what Klopp's done and the strength of our squad, but it's just a shame for players like Lallana and Klein. And Lovren. Basically anyone from Southampton.
So, there's one more quick thing I wanted to bring up, because the last 2 games we've played, both away from home against teams in red, there's something I've noticed in the last few years, and that's, this is probably nothing, but The weird situation with our kits, right? Whenever we play away, we always have a second and a third kit. 3 seasons running now, our third kit has been far more potent than our away kit, our second kit, so to speak. Now, I don't know why that is, but I have a strange feeling it might be to do with the colours of them.
Right.
So, this year, we've got a purple sort of away kit and a sort of bright white third kit, right?
Yes.
White with spiky. Now, generally speaking, you'd say the whiter one is a brighter colour, right?
You would, yeah.
The year before, last season, our away kit was... What colour was our away kit last year? Was it white? Yeah, no.
No. What colour was our away kit?
Is it black? Is that the year before?
I can't even remember, you know?
Oh my god.
No, it was white. It was white and green.
White and squares, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right?
It was like a bit like the one from the mid-90s, for sort of white and then green pinstripe.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But our third kit was a really luminous bright orange.
Yeah.
The year before that, our away kit was black, and the third kit was the luminous yellow-green that we've never been able to just settle on.
Toxic Thunder, I think it will be settled
Right?
on.
Is it because the brighter kits are easier for other players to spot?
Well, I think there's a certain logic in that, which is why kits generally are brighter. There was an infamous game in 1996 when Manchester United played in a grey away strip and changed at half-time because they said they couldn't see each other. That was they only wore it for 45 minutes. But by that logic, then, if the white kit is brighter than the purple this year, then why is the white not brighter than the orange last year? Do you know what I mean? It's a...
So is it just the away kits? Because if you think about the records we'd had, think about that black kit from 2 years ago, think about the white kit from several years ago, think about last year's white kit, think about the purple kit this year, we've not had a lot of success in it.
No.
Isn't it weird?
It's weird. I don't know if there's I don't know how far beyond coincidence it is. I don't know if it's because we wear our third kit. The third kit is also sort of doubles as a European away kit a lot of the time, doesn't it?
Despite the fact we just played in purple in this away game.
Yeah, but I'm thinking back to last year. We wore the third kit. I suppose... No, we didn't wear it against Rome. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm trying to think what colour... because we wore it against Maribor, didn't we?
We were orange against Maribor.
That's what I mean. That was the third kit.
Yeah, and against Porto or orange.
Yeah, but Porto playing blue and white, don't they? So I suppose we couldn't have won the away kit. I can't remember what colour Maribor playing at home. So I'm sort of maybe defeating my own argument here.
But I'm saying the one time you can remember wearing the white kit was the Roma game, and we actually lost that. So
yeah. Yeah. I think it's
fascinating.
Sorry, I'm not meaning to yawn. I think it's probably coincidence.
Yeah.
But,
a strange one, nonetheless.
Yeah. Noteworthy, but maybe not. I don't know. We will conduct further research
throughout the course of the season. Let's see. Let's keep an eye on the purple and the white kits and see how the fixtures fall off after that. We are finally at home for, in fact, the only game at home in the whole month of November, by some weird coincidence. At home to bottom of the table Fulham.
Fulham, who at this point still just about have Slaviša Jokanovic as their manager, who took them up in the playoffs last year in a side that included Shea Ojo, but he's not there this year. And indeed, neither is their success. Like you say, bottom of the table. Should be a straightforward victory, really. Especially for a side with a point to prove after the midweek debacle. We're back to a sort of what I would say perhaps is a proper side.
Well, yeah, we went pretty attacking with it because you've got the front three and Shaqiri all on, which usually means that Salah goes up front, Roberto Firmino plays as a 10 with Mane and Shaqiri either side, with Fabinho and Wijnaldum playing as the two holding players, and the typical back five, as we now know. This is a side who, Fulham can't keep a clean sheet. They're the only side in the whole top 4 tiers of English football not to have kept a clean sheet this season. Do you know what? This is not as easy. This is not as easy as I think we were hoping. Fulham caused us a few issues.
Yeah, they did. You have this kind of slightly horrible feeling that we really spunked our season up the wall this week.
Yeah, you did wonder.
You know, drew with Arsenal, lost to Red Star, not looking great against Fulham. It was a weird one, this as well, because it was on Armistice Day. I've just been trying to think back as to what I was doing when this game was on, because I didn't actually get to watch it. And it was a 12 o'clock kickoff on Remembrance Sunday, which is always a bit of a strange one. There was a slight fear that that 2 minute silence, exactly 100 years since the end of the so-called war to end all wars, would be interrupted by broadcast news that Joe Gomez had reclaimed his place at centre back and Joel Matip dropped to the bench.
Yeah, there is that, isn't there?
Yeah. Which not only would have been kind of disruptive and slightly sacrilegious to the respective awarded, but factually incorrect because Joel Matip wasn't on the bench at all. It was Ben Lovren, which I'd forgotten when I made that joke. But anyway, I've lost my train of thought now because I'm thinking about World War One. Matt.
Right. Okay. Well, while you do that, they had a couple of chances. Fulham managed to let through the youngster Ryan Sessegnon, who missed a golden opportunity when he should have scored. And in fact, the first goal, it was a slightly strange one for Liverpool, just near the stroke of half time, and a game we have been mostly dominant in. Fulham scored, and then we scored. It was a very strange one. The ball was picked up. They've got Fulham on the attack. I think it's Tom Kearney on the right-hand side, whips the ball in. Mitrovic gets his head on it and buries it and runs off celebrating. Flags up for offside, which it wasn't, I'm afraid.
Now I remember, yes.
It was onside. Mitrovic had a goal. He did score. It was wrongly ruled out. While they're still complaining about it, Virgil van Dijk yells to Alisson, play the ball. Alisson puts it down and passes it to Trent Alexander-Arnold. One boot upfield. Salah beats the offside trap, runs in and scores.
And just to add further insult to insult, or whatever, there was claims that the ball was still moving when Alisson took the free kick and passed it to Alexander-Arnold. So,
but that happens a lot, though. The amount of times you see that happen.
But not only should it not have been a free kick, but also it shouldn't have. The free kick that should have been retaken.
Yeah, and it should have been a goal. And Fulham could be massively aggrieved by that.
They can, but suck it up, Fulham. Basically.
I like Fulham. Don't be mean.
I like Fulham. I mean, I sometimes stop and think about why I like Fulham, and I don't know.
Well, they're meant to be quite a good family club, I've heard.
They are, but
and they do a lot for the community and stuff, and that's always nice.
That is always nice, but I look at their team and I look at their manager, and nobody really means anything to me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand.
It's not like when they had, I look at not a single one of those players do I think, oh well, I want Fulham to do well because I like such and such. It's not like I want Leicester to do well because I like Kasper Schmeichel or whatever. Like I just realised this season actually that. Because I really wanted them to come up, because little club, nice little ground, all of that, well run, not been in the Premier League for a few years, and I look at it now and I think, I am as ambivalent about Fulham as it's possible to get. I don't like seeing a newly promoted club go straight back down again, so I want them to stay up for that reason alone. But otherwise, I've gotten I just they do nothing for me. I'm not against them in any way. I'm so utterly indifferent towards Fulham. It's quite a strange realisation. There's not many football clubs I can claim complete ambivalence to.
Wow.
Even the manager, I don't have any opinion one way or the other.
No, not Slavisa Jokanovic, no.
No, it's not like Mark Hughes, who I actively dislike, but Southampton I don't mind. Like Fulham, like as a club, as a team, as a manager, I just
Meh.
Just washes over me.
Meh. Oh well. With that revelation, the second half we were much more dominant. Completely took control of this game after the second half, and it didn't take us long to double our lead. after a beautiful ball from Andy Robertson on the left, grabbing himself another assist to add to his ever-growing collection this season. He's the new James Milner, apparently.
He is.
Jordan Shaqiri with a sumptuous little volley. Really good control. And it's 2-0.
Yeah. I say just after half-time. And it was really well taken goal. It's Shaqiri's first ever away goal for Liverpool.
Was it? Because we were at Anfield, so that's unusual.
Yes, I'm thinking of an extra goal. It's because you've said it's about bloody white kits. I'm ahead of myself.
First away.
Oh, whatever. It would have.
Sorry.
It's because I was thinking about white kits in Craven Cottage, and just it would have been his first ever away goal if we hadn't been playing at Anfield. There we go. Turn that around.
In front
Seamless.
of the cup.
Styled it out. Nobody noticed. Moving on. Oh,
you've got to hope I'm
taking.
You've got to hope I'm cutting that out. Dear.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes.
Like you say, great assist. Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold have a competition this year to see who can get the most assists.
Andy Robertson's miles ahead, isn't he?
He is, because Trent's not really had the season he had last year on that front.
No, and also he doesn't play every game, but Andy Robertson basically does.
Well, have you seen the alternative?
It's a good point. Yeah, good point. Well, In
fairness, Moreno would get a lot of assists, just none of them would be for Liverpool players.
No, good point, well made. James Miller can go back there.
That's true. That's
his biggest threat, let's be frank. Anyway.
That sounds ominous if you...
Yeah, absolutely.
James Milner watching Andy Robertson sleep, just swinging a knife backwards and forwards across his throat. I don't know why that image has come to me. That's so dark.
Oh,
Let's move on immediately.
Stop.
Jeez.
I mean, and by this point, 2-0, the rest of the game is pretty much a non-entity. We create more chances. We probably should score more. Mane and Firmino both miss good chances. The only real other notable thing to sort of discuss is we see both Henderson and Naby Keita return from injuries to, bolster the midfield even further, really.
Yeah. We've now got a very strong midfield. We just don't know our first choice midfield, Like, everyone who, well, we saw nearly all of them this game, didn't we?
5 out of 7, yeah.
Yeah, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Shaqiri, Milner, Fabinho, Keita.
Lallana and Chamberlain, really?
Yeah, I keep forgetting Oxlade-Chamberlain.
No, I never will. I will never forget him.
I mean, I'll never forget that goal he scored against Man City. Well, either of them, but...
No, he will come back and he will be brilliant again. He
will, but just for now, because it's been the same way that I don't think about Clavan anymore because he's not played for us all season, and because he left. But so I don't mean to. If you listen to this, Ox, A, wow, and B, sorry, probably in that order.
C, could we get a signed shirt? Thank you.
Yes,
and maybe no. C, can we get an interview? Thank you.
Yeah, and D, who would win in a fight between you and Dayan Lovren?
Okay.
May prove relevant later.
Well, right now, probably Dayan Lovren because he's probably still on crutches, but there we go. But before we move on to our next game, which was away from home, actually not too far from London, strangely enough, we're going to do something we rarely do. Talk about the international break. Now, we don't really talk about these because usually they're just not really interesting entities. But through a combination seemingly of England suddenly doing quite well, and also are, having some really good players who are quite influential for their countries, this is, certainly since we started doing this podcast, the most remarkably positive international break for Liverpool players I could ever remember.
Yeah, not only were there no crippling injuries, but there were actually some really good performances, weren't there?
Well, quite a lot of notable things happened. Like a weird amount of notable things happened. So Trent Alexander-Arnold got his second England start and scored.
First ever international goal?
Yep, but he's only scored 3 times for us? Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah.
Hoffenheim, Maribor, Swansea.
Yeah.
And now USA apparently. Yeah, he scored at Wembley. Virgil van Dijk and Wijnaldum both scoring goals.
He scored at Wembley, and what was his first away goal for England?
There we go. Virgil van Dijk and Wijnaldum being the two crucial players who sent a Dutch team who are completely on the ascendancy through to the Nations League semi-final.
Yes, the competition that suddenly everyone cares about.
Well, everyone in England does.
Yeah, well, I expect everyone in the Netherlands does as well after they missed the last World Cup and Euros.
Yes, absolutely. And certainly Germany would love to forget about it because they've been relegated. Lovely to hear. So good to hear.
But let's let's not be too harsh on the Germans, Matt, because I know it's tempting to revel in the misfortunes of Germany, but just think, their team includes players like Emre Can, and they've just been relegated.
I know. Deary me. Although Virgil van Dijk's goal was the one that sealed it, so...
I know. That must have been very satisfying for him, mustn't it?
I just wish he'd scored more for us, but then, you can't complain. And Wijnaldum's got a great goal in that as well. Shaqiri was involved in one of the most remarkable international games I think I've ever been aware of.
Yeah, this was actually to determine who England would probably face in the Nations League semi-finals, because England did then qualify with an uncharacteristically good win over Croatia, which was less notable from a Liverpool perspective, other than it was staying lower and getting relegated. And then it was going to be either Belgium or Switzerland, basically, depending on who won this game. Belgium went 2-0 up, I think, and it was just like, it's going to be Belgium then. Bad news from an England point of view, because they've already beaten us twice in 2018. But again, good news if you like Divock Origi and Simon Mignolet. And then, it was remarkable. Switzerland ended up winning 5-2.
I think they had to win by 3 clear goals or something as well.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And
Shaqiri, created 2. I think he got 2 assists. There was a guy who got a hat trick. Their striker got a hat trick.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, big number 9. Can't remember his name is, but it's a remarkable game.
Yeah, what else happened this international break? There was other good news.
Yes, Salah scored direct from a corner.
Yes, that was impressive against. I want to say Burundi, but I don't know why.
Just because it's the first African country you can think of.
No, first African country I can think of is Guinea for some reason.
Well, that's because,
But
Kate
it wasn't them, because Kate had placed for them, and we would have remembered that.
Let's have a look here. I can see. Where is it? Swaziland.
Oh, okay.
Unusual.
Yeah. Probably not if you're African.
No, well, it's very, even though it's a small African country. Well,
yeah, but, if you're an African footballer, it's probably no more unusual than scoring against, San Marino.
I guess so, yeah, because it is technically Swaziland is a sort of semi-independent... Well, it's an independent nation, but it was a part of South Africa for a while. And...
It was. It's been a sovereign state for a good couple of decades, I think. I think it's just because I don't think England have ever played Swaziland or... Well, I don't think anyone in Europe has, have they?
No, I don't think... if it has, friendlies, probably.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not sure Swaziland have ever made the World Cup. But one day, keep going, Swaziland. I believe in you. Keep reaching for that rainbow, as they say.
Try to concede less from corners, if you can.
Yeah, that's always a good tip.
So, yeah, Salah scores direct from a corner, which is great. I mean, that's the last note I had. But immediately, that's 5 players, Liverpool-based players, who had amazing involvements in international football.
And one more we should mention. I promised myself I would mention this. Quiveen Kelleher, our number 3 goalkeeper, I think at the moment. It's hard to tell if he's number 3 or number 4. They seem to take it in turns. Never yet played for us in a competitive game. Featured semi-heavily in pre-season this year. Got his first ever call up to the senior Republic of Ireland squad. Didn't play, and then they sacked the manager. So it's gone really well.
Why would you say it like that?
But hopefully, for his sake, he will get there eventually. He would make the next step and make his senior debut. And he could well end up, at this rate, joining the quite exclusive club of players who have played senior international football before they've made a senior appearance, such as Harry Wilson and Ryan McLaughlin.
Well, I guess we'll have to see.
There we go. Let's monitor the situation. Anyway,
so let's move on. And as we mentioned before, we've got another away game nearish London, not quite the same, but we are at high flying Watford,
my nearest Premier League club.
Yes, by about, even though you're about 100 miles from it.
I'm not 100 miles away. I'm about 50.
Either way, still not exactly an easy commute.
No, it's not exactly on the doorstep.
You are 61 miles away.
61 miles away. Although I am actually sat on the sofa closest to the wall of my living room, so maybe slightly under 61 miles.
60.9.
60.9. We'll go with that.
There we go.
Got a really big living room.
yeah, making a cup of tea takes a day and a half.
I know, it's a nightmare. It's cold by the time I sit down. It's bloody awful. What the hell am I talking about?
I don't know. This is a weird podcast. Away at Watford. Tough game. Very tough game.
Very tough game. Again, side, but they're doing really well this year. Been a bit wobbly lately, but let's not forget at the start of the season they were, they were top four for a couple of weeks. It was Liverpool, Man City, and Chelsea, and then Watford as the fourth best team in the league. They've dropped off since then, but they finally, I think for the first time since they got promoted back to the Premier League in 2014, they finally have a manager that they seem to like and who likes them and doesn't seem to be in a hurry to either resign or be sacked.
Yeah, did a whole pre-season and everything.
I know. What the hell is wrong with him?
Doing very well. A lot of people tip them to go down, but they've been defying those expectations and made it quite tough for us. Just looking at the side, Dejan Lovren was in at the back. Gomez wasn't even on the bench. I think he had a slight issue. Was it this game? Yeah, he had a slight issue in this game and wasn't able to play.
He picked it up in the international break. Am I right thinking that?
I think you might be right. Yes, yeah.
I seem to remember him and Hendo coming back after the USA game.
Yeah, because they had. It was always agreed that that's what they would do. To be fair, but
yeah, I think they went in not on 100% fitness and came back slightly less. So
yeah, Gomez was out as a precaution, which saw Lovren making one of his first appearances of the season. I don't know if it's his actual first, but certainly.
Well, he played in the Fulham game. No, he was on the bench in the Fulham game.
Yes, he was. Yeah, so
I made a joke about him not being. Yeah.
Well done.
Forget I said that. It's going well tonight. Carry on.
Either way, same front four that we saw against Fulham. So a very attacking lineup with Shaqiri involved with the front three. Henderson in the midfield, not Fabinho on this occasion. But otherwise, yeah, a decently strong side. It wasn't a comfortable first half, I would say, generally. Watford scored very early on. Gerard Deulofeu breaks through after 2 minutes and buries it past Alisson, but he is offside. And Watford did create a few chances and cause us a few issues.
That's happened a few times this month, actually, hasn't it? Goals being knocked offside. Obviously, we had that with Mitrovic against Fulham. And we had it going the other way against Arsenal. It seems to be every game so far this month has been a contentious offside decision. There was you mentioned the penalty. Did you? Or not penalty? But...
No, the potential award of a penalty, Will Hughes, supposedly found by Andrew Robertson. Everyone seemed to think it was a penalty. I know I'm probably biased. No, I'm definitely biased for Liverpool players, but I think that's an embarrassing. Will Hughes just goes over him. There's like minimal contact, but
See, I'm as biased as you are, but I disagree. I think it was a penalty.
So looking for it. Oh, I'm going to fall over.
But looking for it isn't a foul. Do you know what I mean? He's looking for it, but there's still contact there, and it's still.
If he wanted to stay on his feet, he could have done. Ergo, not a penalty.
No, see, I don't think that's the definition. I think there's been times we've got a penalty, and if a player wanted to stay on his feet, they could have done. If they'd really wanted to stay on their feet, But the point is, if you get a bit of a knock and it takes out your momentum, you find yourself going down. If you want to stay on your feet, you probably can, but you also, sometimes it takes more effort to stay on your feet than otherwise. Doesn't mean it's impossible to. I mean, I think it's a soft penalty. I don't think he, it's not like he poleaxed him, but there was definitely contact. I think it was, I just think it was a penalty, and it's rare that I say this. It's rare that I will say any decision that goes against us is justified and correct. And of course, if we'd lost this, I'd be with you. I'd be saying, no way was that a penalty. We've been cheated out of our unbeaten record. But as without giving away too many spoilers, it all ended happily ever after. I feel quite content in the fact that I can say, yeah, poor Watford, they really should have had a penalty.
I don't agree, but there we go. That's why football's such a wonderful sport.
It is.
Yeah.
That and the pies.
Of course.
Am I right?
No. Yes. I wasn't really expecting that, but there we go. So yeah, it was a first half that we had a lot of control of the ball. Watford did create quite a few opportunities, and we generally just weren't quite firing on all cylinders. And it took. I mean, the second half was better. Can't argue with that at all. We played better. We had a much more of an injection of pace, much more direct play. We had much more control of the game. We created more chances. Watford, to their great credit, defended really well. Ben Foster did. Who seems to be having a second comeuppance at Watford, who's been brilliant all season.
Second comeuppance?
Yes.
Do you mean like second coming?
I didn't want to say that word, though, because I thought people would giggle.
I mean, I probably would have giggled, but, if what you got to remember is you're talking to a very immature pedant. So I was always going to call you out one way or the other.
Yes, but yeah, and also has a creative writing degree.
Yes.
So
somehow, and for some reason.
That is very useful in your day job.
Yes, writing creatively about printers. Yes. In case our listeners didn't know,
it's such an Alan Bennett job. It's so good.
I do. Alan Bennett meets Alan Partridge, really, isn't it? It's,
have you tried the 185? It's my favourite.
Have you seen the brand new tray on the HP C1X5? It's got a yield of 7,500 pages in colour.
I bring my own paper, 100 PCI. Great quality on that print.
There's actually a printing term called DPI, which is, again, something to giggle at if you're that way inclined. But also, it's dots per image, which is just the most ridiculous way of measuring something. How do we say how clear this image is, Brian? Well, I don't know. Why don't we count the dots? Well, really? Will people really care? Well, I don't know. If we tell them there's lots of dots in an image, then they will probably think that's really good. The more dots, the better. Yes, but what if they check? Who's going to check, Michael? They're counting the dots in a bloody image. What is even a dot? How do you... it's just ridiculous. But I'm getting very tangential tonight. Apologies.
That's okay.
Can you tell I'm slightly frustrated with my job?
It's fine. I quite enjoyed thinking about you as Alan Partridge. It just made me laugh. Mainly because I could see it happening.
Good.
There we go. Anyway, back to the football, and just after the hour mark, we finally make the breakthrough, and it's that man who we haven't actually mentioned much this month, Mo Salah.
No, he's had a relatively quiet month, hasn't he? I mean, I think, is this the first goal he scored in November?
It's the only goal he scores in November.
Yes, and it's his first home goal of November as well.
Yes, of course it is. There's
a bit of a ricochet around the penalty area.
It's great football from the front three, I have to say. Mane, Firmino, some brilliant touches to get in. Mane, who for once he's known to not necessarily making the best decisions all the time. It's a brilliant pass into Salah. As you say, it comes off the defender slightly. Goalkeeper through his legs. Maybe could have done better. We don't care. We're 1-0 up finally.
Yeah. Ends up in the back of the net. Therefore, good goal. That's all you need to say, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
And then it's not actually that long after that. It's just under 10 minutes where we double our lead.
Yeah, this is after Xherdan Shaqiri's brought down sort of about 25 yards out, and you look at the players we've got who could take a free kick. Xherdan Shaqiri being be right up there, brilliant left foot, almost scored one against Southampton, but that you got to see.
Shaqiri not gone off by this point.
Had he? Oh shit, who am I thinking of?
3 minutes before.
Oh, I think it was James Milner. I think it was the player who came on for him.
Yeah,
that's my bad. Sorry, I looked at it and I just saw a short white man and I thought it was him.
Okay, we won't dwell on that.
They're similar built, that's what I'm saying.
They are similar built. Shaqiri's a bit more stacked than Milner, isn't he? Milner's a bit more...
Yeah. But, they're not like tall, gangly players.
No, Milner's more of your kind of your racing whippet, whereas Shaqiri's a bit more of a kind of bollocks. I don't know anything about dogs. Let's just move on. Why am I doing this to myself?
I don't know. You're always doing.
What's wrong with me?
It's fine.
Why do I always try and make metaphors out of things I have literally no knowledge of?
No. Well,
I don't even know what a racing whippet is. Is that even? That's just a normal whippet or a greyhound. I don't know. I don't even know if a whippet is a dog.
What even is a dog?
What is dog? This is now
Existential crisis about dogs. That's going in the blurb for today. This is on podcast. Yeah. Let's. What the hell are we talking about? Yeah. No, there were a few good free kick takers. Shaqiri wasn't one of them. You keep distracting me.
Sorry. I just think what the hell are we talking about could be said so often in this podcast.
It's a very good point. Basically, cut to the chase. Trent Alexander-Arnold whips in a brilliant free kick for 2-0.
He does. It's an absolute beast of a goal. It's in the same week, just about, or just 10 days after his first ever international goal. He's had a bit of a dodgy run of form this season. Still, first choice right back, but not quite hitting the heights last year. This week just seems to have been his week. Absolutely magnificent. Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal.
For a 19-year-old to step up and do that, it's the second time he's done it after last year against Hoffenheim. His first Premier League away goal list, just to make a note, and that is a fact, unlike Owen's facts for the evening.
Some of my facts of the evening are correct. Watford is 60 miles from my house.
Just about. Yeah, it's a brilliant goal. It clearly means a lot to him, and I think this kind of settles the game, really.
It does. Watford don't really offer us anything in response to that. They know the moment's past. And yet we still give them a way back into it.
This really annoyed me.
With a moment that we will surely be talking about again at some point in our end of season awards, because it's definitely one of the most frustrating moments of madness of a season so far. I mean, we've had results like the 2-0 defeat to Red Star that's just bad and depressing, but this is really disappointing in a different way. Jordan Henderson, he was already on a yellow, wasn't he?
Yeah, only a few minutes prior to this. Basically, he'd done a professional foul on Isaac Success, who'd come on sort of 20 minutes beforehand to stop a breakaway, and gets booked. And then a few minutes later, he has another challenge in the middle of the park that the referee warns him on. And at this point, you can see that Hendo's got that kind of red mist in his eyes. And you're sort of thinking, if I was Jurgen Klopp at this point, I would get Fabinho on the pitch now. Just get Henderson off the pitch. He's clearly about to get sent off. We don't need him sent off. We just need to get this sorted. Henderson's losing his mind. He should be more composed as a captain of the football club. Klopp should be smart enough to realise I need to get this player off the pitch immediately. Neither happens. Henderson makes another stupid it's a professional foul again, so he kind of has to do it. But right in front of Klopp, right in front of the ref, 2 bookings, bye.
I mean, he had to do it, but it was also somehow needless. Do you know what I mean? It was like...
Well, yeah, he shouldn't have been on the... Klopp should have taken him off. He had the opportunity.
He shouldn't have been on pitch, but even being on pitch, he shouldn't have done it. It was... what was he doing? It was just madness. It was just unnecessary.
This is Jurgen Klopp's substitutions coming back again. We've talked about this so many times. If he had seen it straight away, he'd have got Fabinho ready and just got him on the pitch. But he's too slow to it.
Yeah, but also, are we seeing signs of frustration in a player whose place in the pecking order is only going in one direction?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I mean, Henderson as captain has never ever been 100% certain, I don't think, to a lot of players. I know that you said a couple of years ago that you thought he'd be lifting a title with us, and you might be right as a club captain. But if you look at the current state of the club and the current state of where we are, and you think about, like, now, I think if you asked any Liverpool fan who would want as captain, if they'd asked that after Gerrard left, they wouldn't have known. You ask that now, I think everybody knows who they would say, and it wouldn't be Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, it'd be Virgil van Dijk.
And that, for me, is the biggest problem, is Henderson has never, ever been that player the way that Stevie G was, and the way that Hippier was, and I think the way that Virgil van Dijk now is.
No. I mean, what we've got to remember, Well, two things, because in Henderson's defence. So one, the role he performed for England at the World Cup this summer was... where was the World Cup this summer? Russia, of course it was. Just had a sudden, forgetful moment. The role he performed for England was far more captain material than anyone else in that team. He was a natural captain for England. He was aggressive, he was shouty, he wasn't always the best player on the pitch, but by God, he got the best out of everyone else. It's exactly what you want out of a captain, and it's unusual because it's not really something he's ever done in quite the same way for Liverpool. It was a welcome but unfamiliar Henderson. Secondly, he's also, another thing you have to remember about Jordan Henderson is he's probably got the most unenviable task of any Liverpool captain in history. Well, no, that's maybe a bit of an overstatement, but and in terms of the shoes he had to fill, whoever was, I mean, we say we didn't know who was going to be captain after Gerrard. He was probably the natural choice, and that's why he got it. But, whoever it was, whether it was Henderson or anyone, could never live up to the example that had been set by the predecessor. He was, was probably the best player to ever play for Liverpool, and now you've got to take over the captaincy from him. How does anyone go about doing that? And he's lived in Gerrard's shadow ever since. But I don't think it's really about his captaincy. I think what it is that, in Klopp's first season, he'd have been, not just because he was captain, but because he was going for a really good spell, he'd have been one of the first names on the team sheet. And now he'd struggle to make the top 10. Assuming that he plays every game, who would you'd pick the entire defence and the front three first? That's 8 players who you would write their names down before you'd get to Henderson.
Yeah, and I think there's 3 midfielders who'll be ahead of him quite easily.
Yeah, it's just I feel sorry for him because I don't think he's been a bad captain of Liverpool, and you look at a lot of his off-pitch activities, the letters he's written to the families of long-term fans who have died and all of that sort of thing. There was that letter, was it 2 years ago? He wrote to a season ticket holder of about 50 years who died, and he wrote to their family. Utter class, It seems a really nice bloke, but he's in a weird position now where he's kind of expected to start because he's a captain, but he's not good enough to start, really. And I think it's really getting to him. I think from his performances this year, particularly this Watford game, I think it's starting to seep into his confidence and the way he plays. Yeah,
and it's hard to see him coming back from that,
Yeah, it is, because I don't... He's going to have to get a lot better as a footballer to reinstate his first choice midfield position, especially when Oxlade-Chamberlain comes back from injury. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got, when Keita and Fabinho get better, as I believe they inevitably will, and the same with Oxlade-Chamberlain did, they are going to be fantastic players, and I don't see Henderson keeping up with them.
No, and even if you think about backup players, well, at the moment, Wijnaldum is pretty much, has played more games than anybody else in that midfield this season. Jimmy Milner, don't know how long he's got left with us, both in terms of, fitness levels, how long can he keep it up for, and does he fancy, maybe one more challenge?
That is admittedly a very specific fitness level, Matt, but I'm not sure is particularly vital. How long can he keep it up for?
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, I think it's an important issue for men when you get to that age, but I'm not sure it's really relevant to Premier League football.
He's going to be on one of those adverts soon with, get yourself checked, lads. Get yourself checked.
Get yourself checked,
I've got such a good idea for another advert.
I wonder what that is. I wonder what I do. Oh, I can't wait till a December podcast.
That's December's. That's his half of December's plan done.
Bring it on.
Anyway, where were we? Yes. No, I don't know about Henderson, but anyway, he got his marching orders, and he'll be banned for the next domestic game, which is the Merseyside derby, I think.
Yes, correct.
So that's not not exactly what the captain should be getting himself into, but there we go. Deary me.
No, very disappointing. Very disappointing.
And put us on the back foot for 10 minutes, really.
It did. And, it would have only needed Watford to get one back, and they'd have looked like getting a second back, which sounds like a really stupid thing to say, but do you know what I mean? We know what Liverpool are like, and when we're under the cosh in the last 10 minutes of a game, it can sometimes be relentless. Look at Seville last season when we gave goals away late on because they kept getting momentum out. Look at Man City, 4-3 nearly happened again. And you wouldn't have bet against the way Watford played. You wouldn't have bet against it necessarily happening this time. But there was one more moment of brilliance to come, wasn't there?
There was from Watford's corner. They whipped it in, and we sort of half cleared it. Wijnaldum, who's quietly been brilliant most of this season, let's be frank about it, he does a brilliant bit of turn, bit of composure on the edge of the box, breaks the ball out, plays in Robertson, who's sort of in his own half, bursts past the defender with ease. I mean, the fitness level of Andy Robertson is just unbelievable. He's away, he's through, plays it across to Mane. Fair play to Ben Foster, by the way. He won't get the credit he deserves. This is an incredible save he gets from Mane's shot. Don't know how he keeps it out, but he does. Unfortunately, it falls straight to the head of Firmino, heads it in, a couple of yards out, seals the game.
Doesn't it fall to Mane first?
That's what I just said.
Yes, sorry, I was thinking about Andy Robertson still.
Every time I say his name, you drift off.
He's a wonderful bloke. It was unlucky on Foster. Like I said, it was a good save. Lovren. Bloody hell. Firmino was just in the right place to capitalise on it. Again, easy goal, really, but Michael's a good striker. Does what he needs to do, tap in with his head, bang, 3-0. Really, really good result.
And that seals 3 points in a very difficult game. A lot of teams will drop points there, and it's another 3 points as we slowly but surely creep ahead of Man City and us are starting to creep ahead of everybody.
Yeah, pulling away from a chasing pack. Chelsea didn't have some great results this month. Starting to look more and more like a 2-horse race. That'd be nice.
Just nice to be involved, to be honest. Nice to be invited to the party.
Yeah, to be, for it to be a 2-horse race is, let's face it, progress on last season.
Well, somebody's got a bloody challenge Man City, haven't they?
Well, yeah, hopefully. You wouldn't have necessarily said they necessarily had to, do you know what I mean? I mean, if you look at last season, nobody really did. We had good results against them. We still only, we didn't finish within 2 places of them. But this year, it's looking very different. The longer it stays like that, the better. The longer you're within, a few points of them, then it only takes one good result for us and a bad result for them, doesn't it?
Exactly.
The closer you keep it, the smaller the margin.
Yeah, just keep the pressure on. That's all you have to do. Yeah. And so with that, we come to the last game in November. And it's the penultimate Champions League game, our last away Champions League game in the group stage. And it's a tough one.
It is. It's for Parc des Princes, as they say. A stadium that has held many happy times for us. We won the European Cup here not so long ago. Well, 40 years ago. But, we've never actually beaten PSG here. Had a disappointing result back in the late 90s under Roy Evans, I think it was. In what I think was a Cup Winners' Cup. But, it was going to be a tough game. We did think at one point that Kylian Mbappe and Neymar might be out. But they weren't.
cool story, bro. Yeah.
Well, no, because you went in sort of thinking, "Oh, bit of hope. If they're injured, we've got a really good chance." And then neither of them were injured, and we had much less of a chance.
Sorry. Were they not injured? It's just really strange because he was on the floor every 30 seconds. So I'm assuming he was really hurt all the time.
Yeah, well, I think he started the game fit, but I think he got shot several times over the course of 90 minutes. Neymar.
To be fair, he was touched by our players, so of course he's going to go down like that.
He was, yeah. I think at one point, you know me, Matt. I'm biased. Obviously, I'm in favour. Like I said earlier, I generally take the Liverpool players' side over any of this. But I don't know if you saw it. I think it was about the 8th minute. I think Joe Gomez did cough within a couple of meters.
No, he didn't.
Well, no, see, again, you know what, I would normally take Joe Gomez's side, but if it's a clear foul, I think Gomez, maybe it wasn't a cough, maybe he cleared his throat, but, it's not acceptable in modern football. I was quite disappointed in him for doing that. Neymar obviously did the natural thing and went down and rolled, about the length of the Channel Tunnel, roughly, give or take a couple of feet. Ironically, if you had taken his feet, the reaction would have been warranted. But I just think it's not acceptable for our players to be coughing near Neymar.
Or in fact, any of the squad. I mean, if you look at the amount of, I did a little tally when I was watching the game. We should have had 17 sendings off.
Yeah, we should have. I don't know how Virgil van Dijk's still a professional footballer.
No, mean, it's unbelievable.
Cantona got banned for 9 months for less.
Yeah, I mean, defending. I just blocking a ball and touching I just can't. You can't accept it in today's modern age.
The worst thing is, he calls himself a defender. He takes pride in it. He like that's his job, to go there and defend. So all these players fall over. It's awful. What kind of twisted individual does that? Unbelievable. Oh, Neymar's a dick, though, isn't he?
The whole bloody team were, mate.
Yeah.
I have never seen such a pathetic bunch of rich twat individuals. What a disgrace. No, honestly, what a disgrace. These people are meant to be adults, professional adults, and they're behaving like babies. If I did that at work and started behaving like a baby, I'd be fired on the spot. And yet they get away with it because they're somehow rich and famous and making loads of money and don't have to try in their own league. Do you know what? Piss off.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Yes, keep going. I enjoyed that.
The fact, I kind of ran out of steam a bit, and also the truth of the matter is we were actually pretty terrible and deserved to lose. So
we did, but it'd be nice to not lose to a bunch of wankers, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't. Genuinely, I'd prefer to lose to Red Star again.
Yeah, I would. At least you sense it was sort of really mattered to them. They got a good sense of occasion out of it. That would be a really famous result for them. Do you know what I mean? They'll look back on that and it'll be one of the great results in their history.
Mm.
This will just be remembered for, Edison Cavani stubbing his toe and breaking his leg at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, we got 6 bookings. I don't think we've ever had 6 bookings in a game because we're fairly, we're fairly good. Don't foul people team,
Wasn't there an awful foul on Joe Gomez as well?
Yeah, from Marco Verratti. He only got a booking for it.
Yeah. Nearly broke his leg. Ridiculous.
Yeah, and he got the same as, Joe Gomez did for his cough, so...
Yeah.
There we go.
What, a strepsil?
I know, exactly. Well, I can't think of a funny retort of that. Yeah, this was dreadful. There's no hiding away from it. That the midfield, the whole game was poor. They were way better than us. Took the lead on 13 minutes. Bernat, the right-sided fullback, squeezed in after Virgil van Dijk, terrible clearance from across. Fortunately, VVD isn't perfect and he makes mistakes, and it was punished for this one. And I mean, they could have had a few more before they got a second through that absolute arsehole Neymar, finishing a great counter-attacking move, to be fair. But God, we were all over the place, and they could have scored for fun at times.
Yeah, it is literally the definition of insult to injury that Neymar scored against us. I hate him. Everybody
who isn't like a PSG or Brazil fan does, though. That's the thing. But as long as he's influencing a generation of children to fall over all the time, we get a lot more of that to look forward to. So.
I mean, children do that naturally. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't even need someone like Neymar. Like, children, they have a low centre of gravity. They go down really easily.
Yeah, but they'll be learning. They'll be learning in football how to dive properly to win matches. Same as Real Madrid did it to us in the final as well. It's it's something the Europeans seem to do.
I know, but if you put your hand on the back of the head of a fully grown man and push a bit, the man will probably stay upright. If you put your head on the back of an 8-year-old child and push with the same force, the child will fall over. My point is, they don't need Neymar as a role model. They already fall over with minimal contact. Trust me, I pushed over a lot of children.
I'm worried about you.
I'm worried about me, Matt. I need help.
think is not the right word. So yeah, 2-0. let's be honest about it. We at rare points in this game did we look like we were going to score, but on the stroke of half time we did.
We did, and I've completely blocked the goal from my memory.
It's from the penalty spot. Mane is cleared out by Di Maria, just on the edge of the penalty box. It's a rush challenge, although Mane is kind of looking for it. So we talked about, the Will Hughes one, maybe similar. Who knows? And Jimmy Milner does what he does from the penalty spot and gives us, half a glimmer of hope that if we play, come out a different side the second half, maybe we've got a chance of saving something here.
I mean, we've got quite a lot of soft penalties in Europe this year. We got a couple against Red Star at home as well, which we didn't really deserve, or at least one anyway. But right on the stroke of half time, best time to score, to pull one back. Going to be a really interesting second half. You think might turn it around over 3-2? Wouldn't that be marvellous? But we didn't really do much in the second half, did we?
No, if anything, PSG could have got further ahead.
Yeah, we had a really strong defensive performance, especially from Alisson. But going forward, didn't really offer an awful lot to make you think we're ever going to actually equalise.
No, we just didn't look. It looked bad. We were struggling. Alisson made a few wonderful saves. Fantastic performances from him. Only Mane ever looked like, Salah was anonymous. Firmino completely irrelevant. The midfield lacked any sort of gala creativity. And we deserved nothing. We got nothing. It's just a shame that the game has been reduced to such embarrassing antics.
Yeah, it is. It spoils it, doesn't it? I mean, it's hard to... It sounds daft if you think, we've lost 2-1, but even that, as a game of football, is spoiled by just the pathetic and brazen behaviour of the PSG players. They're so desperate to win the Champions League, they'll turn a hissy fit to do it. They're not going to win the Champions League, though, are they?
Oh, God, imagine if they won the Champions League.
They're not going to win the Champions League. They're not that good a team. I know they've just beaten us, but...
Yeah, we were awful, though. But there we go. And that ends the month of November with our fourth consecutive away Champions League defeat for the first time in our history.
Yeah. I don't know if this is I don't think this is a record of what I'm about to say, because obviously that's the first time in our history, which is unusual, but it's also, I think this seems more unusual than it maybe is because it feels like we've had quite a good year in Europe, but we've only won once outside of our own country in the Champions League in 2018.
And that would be Maribor? No, that was the year before.
Yeah, Porto.
Of course, yeah. That was a good win, though.
It was a great win, but that was the only time we've won abroad in the Champions League this year.
Good God.
That's weird, isn't it? Because, like I say, it feels like we had such a good European campaign.
Well, we did.
We did, but, we beat Porto away, and then, obviously, quarterfinals, we didn't actually leave England, so it's a bit of a trick question. But then, lost in the semi-finals in Rome, lost in the final in Kiev, lost in Naples, lost in Belgrade, and lost in Paris. It's to lose all but one of your foreign games in a year when you've played in every possible round of the competition and still be considered having a good season is quite unusual.
Blimey.
Yeah.
So there we go. Anyway, so that ends the month of November. So it leaves one hell of a crunch tie at home to Napoli to see how the rest of our Champions League or not may develop.
Yeah, we're going to need a big famous old Anfield European night to make sure we're in that draw on the 17th of December.
But we will discuss that when the month of December comes around.
Yes, we will.
And so that ends the month of November. So before we go into some of our features and some of the stuff we're going to finish the podcast with later, we have to do a sponsored advert break. Hello, I'm Professor Philip von Milkestan de Burnenborg. Professor of Humanoid Robotics at the University of Geneva. Apologies, I can't pronounce my own job. I'm here to introduce our latest development, the brand new and improved Robo Warnock, your one-stop home help come international left back for all your domestic needs. The brand new and improved Robo Warnock is not just a fantastic footballer at a lower mid-table or higher championship level. It is also everything you need to complete those fiddly little jobs around the house. Look at how Robo Warnock's extendo vacuum sleeve both extends and vacuums. Look at how the Robo Warnock can both prepare and serve your breakfast in the bed. Now, with only the barest minimum ion poisoning. And Robo Warnock has a database of over 4,000 hit songs in Mauritius that he can play at the drop of a hat with Robo Warnock voice control. Hey, Robo Warnock, play the national anthem of Mauritius. Groove is in the heart, groove is in the heart. See, beautiful. If I hadn't injected so much Botox into my face in a naive and arrogant attempt to look like a 50-year-old instead of my actual 107 years old, I would be weeping like the waterfall at Interlaken right now. Look at Robo Warnock can pick up your post, wash your car, pleasure your wife, subtly eliminate your political opponents. Robo Warnock runs mainly on electricity, just like a small electric car, or a really big hair dryer. Available for your home for just 5,000 Swiss francs, and with a free box of pastries. The new and improved Robo Warnock. The future is here, and it looks a lot like Stephen Warnock.
G'day! As a generic Australian stereotype, I like nothing more than a barbie on the beach, killing rare wildlife and having a few schooners with the guys. There's nothing better than grabbing a few tinnies to watch the soccer at the local sports bar. And now you can support the Reds of the Boozer with the unofficial LFC Lager. LFC Lager is the only beer any Liverpool fan should be drinking. At 6.6% strength, it tastes as good as one of Trent Alexander-Arnold's free kicks and is as strong as Virgil van Dijk give a tackle. Made with finer hops than another Neymar dive, malts as rich as Manchester City, and the finest yeast this side of John Terry's infection, LFC Lager is a beer of the finest quality. Brewed with citrus, apricots, and the sweat off Alison Becker's head. You want to get your hands on one of these more than he does when he makes another astounding save. Coming in bottles, tinnies, or in casks is not encouraged in any public establishment, but you can buy LFC Lager at any fine bar, pub, or shop you care to venture. And right now, if you visit any branch of Great Food, Great Value in the New South Wales area and give the secret code, "Give me a reasonably priced lager, please," you may be able to get a refreshing schooner of LFC Lager for a refreshingly reasonable price. We spoke to real soccer fans to tell us what they think of LFC Lager, and they love it. LFC Lager is my favourite Liverpool-based lager that you can only buy in Australia. This gets me proper mashed up, like, it goes down really well with this paint thinner I just huffed around the back of Bunnings. I just love... what's the question? LFC Lager turns you into a piss-drunk Scouse woman. Apparently.
Andy Robertson is at a fireworks party, eating toffee apples with both hands. Close up on Andy Robertson's eyes, a huge bonfire blazing, with a guy of Alberto Moreno sizzling away. Close up of Andy Robertson's hands. He drops the half-eaten toffee apples to the ground. There's an explosion. Andy Robertson turns and runs into a nearby copse, Andy Robertson yobs through the woods wearing a gilet with no shirt, shorts, and last season's third kid socks. Andy Robertson stops in a clearing and looks around him. Suddenly, a dragon appears in the distance, breathing fire, which Andy Robertson dodges round, ducking and diving and only slightly singeing his eyebrows. Andy Robertson pulls a sword out of you know where, close up on Andy Robertson's mouth. He grins defiantly. With one fell swoop, Andy Robertson slices through the dragon's neck and the dragon explodes. Andy Robertson stands and wipes the charcoal from his forehead. Andy Robertson bends down and picks up a toffee apple. Andy Robertson takes a big old chomp, throws his head back, and laughs. Grappo for men.
Hi, I'm James Milner, CEO and canteen lady of James Milner Industries. We've released a range of products and services so far, including tea bags, millers, cheap zoos and holiday parks with me, James Milner. With the success of this entrepreneurial enterprises, I've once again taken the next logical step just in time for bonfire night. Introducing James Milner's Fireworks with me, James Milner. James Milner's Fireworks with me, James Milner. They're sure to bring a bang to your outdoor event, because they're fireworks and they go bang. With our wide range of over 3 types of fireworks, there's one for every occasion. There's our Catherine wheels, which spin for an incredible 8 seconds, so long as our firework maker Pete has put enough of a powder in it. There's our super sparklers, which are just like normal sparklers except with the word super on the front. And there's our red fireworks, which are red. James Milner's Fireworks with me, James Milner, are the perfect fireworks for your open air event. They're perfect for bonfire night, New Year's Eve, garden parties, weddings, celebrating a family achievement, funerals, getting a reduced jail sentence, and at least 2 more that are thought of for the text they put on the back of the packages. We have an exclusive offer only for those listening to this radio advert, or have seen our television commercial, or have been on the website, or picked up one of the boxes in a shop. If you buy 2 boxes of fireworks, we'll give you another one absolutely free. I got the idea after realising the number 3 comes after the number 2, and that we could afford to sell 3 boxes for the price of 2. I'm quite proud of it myself. Get your James Milner Fireworks with me, James Milner, in time for bonfire night. Except we only managed to record this advert in mid-December, so you'll have to get them for 2019 or use them another time. James Milner's Fireworks with me, James Milner. Pop.
And now it is time for another game. And it's another one of my devilish quizzes, as they now seem to know them all. Now, Owen, we've discussed many thing on this podcast. But there's one that has kept coming up that I feel slightly embarrassed that I've not jumped on and turned into a feature yet until now. Now, when we did the A to Z a couple of years ago, which you can listen to by going onto the iTunes Store and finding Simpson and Collins, if that's how you found us or not, you can go back and listen to our A to Z. It was a very interesting feature. But we discovered a lot of interesting football teams, didn't we, throughout that, particularly American ones.
We did, yeah.
And so I thought it would be fun to play a game that I like to call, Is it a football team or is it not a football team?
Nice snappy title.
Basically, it's a very simple game, Owen. I have got a list of different football team names here, and all you have to do and tell me if it is a football team or if it is not a football team.
Okay. Are they all American?
So, I have been doing some research on this, and I've divided them into 2 halves. So the first half is all American teams, and then the second half we go around the world. There's a total of 22 points on offer, so we're going to get through these pretty rapid rate. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Let's go. Starting with number 1. Owen, is it a football team or is it not a football team? New Orleans riverboat gamblers.
That seems a very strange one to make up. But I wouldn't put it past you. I will say that's not a football team.
Incorrect. It is a football team. The New Orleans riverboat gamblers are obviously a New Orleans-based football team, or were.
Makes sense, I suppose.
Number 2, Austin Soccadillos.
Austin Soccadillos. Again, sounds too weird to be made up. I'll say true.
It is true, yes. They were a team based in Austin, for some reason called the Soccadillos, but not spelt how you would imagine. Because you'd imagine Soccadillos, Soccerd, whatever, like armadillos. But it's spelled Socka, Dillos.
Like sock.
Yeah.
Like as in football sock. That is odd.
Bizarre. Question 3. Kalamazoo outrage.
That's got to be fake.
It's true. They genuinely were called Kalamazoo outrage.
Are any of these fake?
Question 4. Chicken kickers.
Chicken kickers. No, that's what you get from Domino's as a side order.
Yes, you are right. I made that one up. Question 5. Sandy Beach holidays.
Again, I'm pretty sure I've stayed there in a caravan site, so that's fake.
That is also fake. Well done. Question 6. California surf.
That sounds more real. I'll say that's real.
That is true. Yes, there was a team called California Surf. Interesting fact there.
Good name.
Yeah, absolutely. Question 7. Crystal Palace, Baltimore.
Crystal Palace, Baltimore. I can't possibly think why, but a strange compulsion is telling me that this is true.
It is true. Yes, this was a weird thing where Crystal Palace tried to franchise their team out, and they one success which lasted about a few years in Baltimore. They even had the same logo.
Oh, that's odd.
Mm.
They're quite ahead of its time, really.
I know, right? Considering that, and Man City have their conglomerate now and things like that. So yeah, there you go. Crystal Palace leading the way. Question 8. Finger Lakes Heartbreakers.
Finger Legs Heartbreakers.
Finger Lakes Heartbreakers.
Finger Lakes Heartbreakers. Oh my! I mean, that sounds like a porn film. Fake.
It's true.
Oh, for goodness sake!
It's another American team called. Apparently, there's a place called Finger Lakes, and they decided to call themselves the Heartbreakers.
God, where to begin with that?
I know, right? Oh dear. Well, let's begin with this. Question 9. Gaylordsville United.
Gaylordsville United. True.
False. I made that up. But there is an American town called Gaylordsville. So
do they have a football team?
I don't believe so. It's a tiny village, so I doubt it somehow.
Fair enough.
Question 10. Team America.
Is that's a film? Team America World Police. But is it also a football team? I think it is actually. Yes, true.
Correct, it is true. There was a Team America. It was a kind of mashup of all the best American players back in the day, where they were, less serious about the sport, shall we say? And question 11. This is the first half completed. Idaho running and kicking.
Oh, surely not. No.
You don't believe Idaho running and kicking is real?
Oh, but now you're saying that makes me think that
Stick to your guns?
I'm sticking to my guns. No way.
You're right, no. I did make that up.
Oh, thank God.
Right. So, that was the first half in the American round, and you got 8 out of 11.
Oh, I was going to say, I did pretty well. I'm
8
quite
out
happy
of
with
11.
that.
Congratulations. Now we're going round the world. So this can be anywhere in the world. So if you're interested in finding out where they're from, let me know. This is question 12. Go for it, Nigeria.
Go for it, Nigeria. I mean, was it not Nigeria who had... They've got a president called Goodluck Jonathan, and I have a feeling... Was it Nigeria that gave the world Tokyo sex whale? So I wouldn't put anything past them. I'm going to say yes, true.
I made it up. It's wrong.
Ah,
Unbelievable.
where was Tokyo sex whale from?
I think you're right. There is a place called Tokyo Sex Whale. I can't remember where they were from, though.
Oh, he's South African.
Oh, there you go. That's why. Obviously, Nigeria. Unbelievable.
Sorry,
Different
Tokyo.
part of the world.
Sorry, Mr. Sex Whale.
Unbelievable. Question 13. FC Lesbians. That'll be Les Biens, obviously.
Right. So it's 2 words, is it?
FC Les Biens
Les
looks
Biens.
like lesbians.
Looks like lesbians. Is that like a sequel to Smells Like Teen Spirit? Looks like lesbians. That sounds very French, and why would they lie? I'm going to say true.
I made that up as well.
Oh, how does your head work? I'm worried about you.
Well, I do work in comedy, so you know.
I know, but I thought I had a weird head.
You've heard my Twitter parody accounts, let's be honest.
This is true.
Question 14. Seaman Padang.
Seaman Padang is... Seaman Padang, I've heard that before somewhere, and I'm not sure if it's somewhere, if I've eaten it, or if I've heard of it.
Yeah, or you can't talk about it because it's in the back end of your history.
Yes, right. I mean, when I say eating it, I mean the Padang, not just seaman. I'm sure you're about to tell me it's like chicken cooked with walnuts, but I'm gonna say it's true.
It is true. They are a football team. Well done.
Oh, thank God.
They are called Seaman Padang.
Tell you what, though, chicken cooked with walnuts would be a nice curry.
It would, absolutely. Maybe you could try that later.
Yeah.
Question 15. Rail Willet.
How are we spelling Willie?
Wille with an accent.
Rail Willie. Willie. I'm going to say true.
It's false. I made that one up too.
Oh, for goodness sake. I was doing so well in America as well.
You were. It's all going down. Well, maybe...
Left America to seek my fortune and failed miserably.
Maybe you can pick up some points here. Question 16. Deportivo Wanker.
Yes, they are definitely true. I've heard of them before.
That is definitely
Deportivo
true,
Wanker.
yes. So there we go. Number 17. Naughty Boys.
Oh, there's Young Boys in Switzerland, of course. I don't think there's... I think you've taken inspiration from Young Boys, if you'll pardon the expression. But I think Naughty Boys are fake.
It's true.
Oh, for God's sake.
There is a Naughty Boys team. This is absolutely not a joke. They are in the Botswana First Division.
Oh, well, how silly of me. I've clearly not been paying attention to the match reports coming in from the Botswana First Division on 5 Live.
Well, it's interesting because you should have been, because you'll be able to answer this one. Number 18, Botswana Meat Commission.
Botswana Recommission.
Botswana Meat Commission.
Meat Commission. Yes. Again, I think... if this isn't a song, it should be. But if it isn't a football club, I think it's because it's a song. But I've definitely heard those 3 words I have heard together at some point before. And so I'm going to say true.
Good guess. It is true. Yeah, there is a team called Botswana Meat Commission.
It sounds like a half man, half biscuit song, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it's they won the country's Coca-Cola Cup in 2007.
Oh, good for them.
Well done to them, yeah.
So they'll be dancing in the streets of Botswana Meat Commission tonight.
Well, yeah, but will they be dancing in the streets of question 19, Eritrea Shoe Factory?
Eritrea Shoe Factory. Yes, they will. I reckon that's true as well.
They are true, yes. That is true.
God.
They adopted the name of a shoe factory in Eritrea, so that is true.
It's imaginative, isn't it? I mean, if they adopted the name of a shoe factory, it doesn't say an awful lot for the imagination of the people who run the shoe factory, which is presumably called Shoe Factory.
Or just Eritrea Shoe Factory. They've got one.
Yeah.
They've just got one. Well, you're doing well, though. You're picking up the points.
I'm getting there.
Question 20.
Bringing it back.
Question 20, Namibia Tungsten Reserve.
Oh, surely this has got this beautiful thread of bizarrely named African clubs has got to run out at some point. Namibia Tungsten Reserve.
Yeah.
I don't think there's that much tungsten in Namibia. I'm saying that's a fake.
You are right, yes, it was made up. However, that is one of their biggest exports. Namibia is tungsten.
Oh, is it actually?
Yes, I had to do the research to find what I thought would be justifiable.
Oh, well, I got the right result from the wrong reasons then.
Yeah, don't judge the tungsten amounts in Namibia, dude.
I would like to put on record my sincere apologies and contrition to all the tungsten workers in Namibia. I did not realise you were so heavily reliant on this most wonderful of elements.
What is tungsten used for?
Is it in light bulbs? I have no idea.
There we go. Right.
I don't have a first thing about it. There's apparently a lot of it in Namibia.
There we go. You've learnt a lot today. Question 21. We're almost to the end. Insurance management bears.
Insurance management bears. I don't even know how or why you'd make something like that up. But you surely have. That's a fake.
It's true.
Oh, for goodness. Insurance management bears.
Insurance management bears, otherwise colloquially known as Bears FC, are based in Nassau in the Bahamas. But their full title is Insurance Management Bears Football Club, founded in 1996.
Wow.
So there we go. Which leads us to one more.
Why are they called that? Are they sponsored by insurance management company?
I guess they must be. I haven't done enough research onto that, to be fair.
Wow. There we go. I've learned something today. I've learned a lot.
I've just googled their squad, and they've got one player who's in any registry called D. Savajlic. He's a 32-year-old Serbian. So there we go.
Well, that'll be Laser Markovic in a couple of years.
playing for Namibia Tungsten Reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And question 22, the last one. Did I make this up or not? Is this a football team or is it not a football team? King Faisal's Babes.
But are they all men's teams?
Yeah, none of them are women's teams. They're all professional teams, so they all have men's teams and some have women's teams as well.
See, I think King Faisal implies, with the greatest of respect, a country where attitudes to women might not be the most progressive. So I wouldn't be too surprised if there was a women's team called King Faisal's Babes, but a men's team, I don't think it is. It's a fake.
It's also true.
Ah, for goodness.
They're a professional team in Ashanti in Ghana, organised where they originally started out as a kind of a plaything for King Faisal when he was their leader, and now they are known. They were known. Oh, actually, no, that's not true. They were named after King Faisal by their owner, who that's his idol. For some reason, called them the Babes. So there we go.
Well, we won't ask what was going on in his head. I've just looked this up. Actually, I should point out to our listeners, obviously, although we are recording this remotely using the miracle of laptops, when it comes to stuff like this, I never do cheat, as my scores will often attest. But I've just looked up King Faisal's Babes. Not that I didn't believe you, but I was just interested. And there was a King Faisal Babes player at the 2006 World Cup.
There was?
Yeah, Habib Mohammed.
Played for
Ghana.
Oh.
So, that's...
Well, currently, their manager from a couple of years ago was an English guy by the name of Steve Pollack, who holds a Finnish citizenship and has managed everywhere from Finnish clubs, including FC Inter and ROPS Rovaniemi, to he's currently a manager of a club called Asante Kotoko, who are in Ghana. God, this man's fascinating. And he's managed a club 3 times called Beckerham Chelsea.
Oh, I wonder if there are any...
Whose logo is the old Chelsea logo.
Really?
Yeah. Beckerham Chelsea FC.
How do you spell that?
Berekum. Yeah, he's managed in Finland and Ghana, because of course he has.
Oh yeah, God, it is like a Chelsea logo, isn't it?
Amazing, right?
This is so weird.
Also, I've just gone to the King Faisal Babes FC Wikipedia page. Someone needs to update it, because there are 2 number 11s in the squad, so...
Oh, well, that's awful.
Yeah.
I think you could be the one.
Should I update it now?
Go on.
Should I give him a really random number and see if I can do it? Should we pick a number for him?
What numbers are they missing?
Well, they've just got 1 through 40.
I will give them 49.
Oh no, it's got to be more fun than that. What about like a 3-digit number? Should we try and change the course of history?
Oh, I know, but you don't want to get your IP address logged by Wikipedia, do you? You'll never be able to work in this town again.
What's the highest squad number ever in a football match? Let's beat it by 1.
Has there been one in 3 figures?
There has. There's quite a few, particularly in South America and Australia. I think they can do it.
Okay, go.
Football.
Go.
I want to do the research.
I have no idea how to even do this in any logical way other than just plucking a 4-digit number out of the air. Go for 5,060.
5,060. 5,600.
Because it's sort of 4 minutes to 1 in the morning, and that's...
Oh, should we go 666?
Oh, no, that might be offensive.
Oh, 667?
Yeah, why not?
667. Right, publish changes. There you go. It's done. Have a look at it now. Muda Mohammed. Sorry, bud.
How do you know it was him that didn't have it, though?
Well, because there's another 11 over here called Emmanuel Odoy, who's currently got it.
I know, but how do you know Muda Mohammed didn't have the number 11? Yeah, that does stick out a bit, doesn't it?
I believe in that. That's it. It's done.
There we go.
We are done. We have officially parted our gift. If you'd like to see that, I don't know if it'll still be out by the time this goes out or you're listening to it. But yeah, look for King Faisal's Babes on Wikipedia, and you can see our handiwork.
I'll tell you one thing though, before we move on.
Yes.
I was just checked, and again I didn't cheat on this either. But tungsten is used in light bulbs.
There you go. Fascinating.
So my tungsten knowledge is actually better than I thought it was.
Yeah. Oh dearie me. Anyway, should we move on from that? Just so you know, you did not too bad, but that second half let you down a little bit. I think you had slightly too much faith in me and lack of faith in my ability to create things. You got a total score of 13 out of 22.
That's better than half. I'll take that.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, went downhill in the second half, definitely, but then it's happens. That happens.
That's 59.1%.
Oh, it's not so good when you say it like that.
No.
I prefer just over half.
Okay, well, just over half. There you go. Maybe room for improvement. Let's put it that way. Yes, and that was my game.
Thank you very much. I greatly enjoyed that. That was marvellous.
Great, perfect. And now do the reintroduce the feature and put the twist.
So now it's time for the final feature of the month of November, and we are heading over to Melwood. Those of you who have been listening to this podcast a long time will remember that last year we waded in to help sort out what was a bit of a battle royale scenario between Liverpool players past and present as they came at each other with whatever they had to hand and basically fought. Not to the death, but just fought for the sake of it in the big LFC multiplayer rumble, and it's all kicking off again. So we've decided to get ringside and bring you the action from the goings on, and it's got a topical spin this time around. We've noticed because we are living in a country riven with divisions to its very core in the wake of that ever so brilliant referendum on the 23rd of June 2016, and there seems to be more than a little bit of tension in the air up and down the country between the British and our European neighbours, and so we're calling on Melwood today to see a UK versus EU rumble happening. 24 players, past and present, mostly present, but with a few past masters thrown in as well for a surprise, are putting on the boxing gloves, the wrestling boots, and the taekwondo mouthguard, and the karate socks, and the jiu-jitsu knee pads, and the wrestling gusset to duke it out. And yeah, so the format is we've got 24 players, we've got 12 head-to-head rounds of 2. We then go into 4 three-person scenarios, and then we have the semi-finals and the final to find out who will win this year's Melwood Rumble. There's very little rules. Anything goes, basically. Basically, it's up to me and Matt to decide who wins based on what we know about these players. Matt, does that all make sense to you?
Excellent. Ready to go.
Without further ado, in round 1, kicking off in the corridor at the moment, we've got Andy Robertson versus Dayan Lovren. Matt, what are you thinking?
Oh, this is what you were referring to earlier on. So subtly.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I think I did.
Yes, I think I did. I can't remember.
Yes, you did. You absolutely did. Oh, okay. Well, that's quite tough because Dayan Lovren on paper, I mean, he's physically probably stronger. He's bigger. He's more of a mountain. But then Andy Robertson, one, he's more agile. Two, he's fitter, so he can last longer distance. And also, he grew up in Scotland, and you got to survive in those climates up there.
You have, but then Lovren, he grew up in Croatia, and it's not been easy in Croatia over Lovren's lifetime. There's been, conflict there. And...
Oh my God! Like his situation is very serious compared, really.
Yeah, I may be making this too serious.
Yes.
But, also, Lovren's got a lot of arrogance to him that Robbo hasn't got, and that normally helps in boxing, doesn't it? And that sort of thing.
But then that leads you to mistakes, though.
But look at people like Tyson Fury. It's not done him too much harm, much as I would like it to.
Yeah, but Lovren is prone to the odd error, and I think Andy Robertson's the sort of smart guy who can take advantage of that. If he throws a couple of punches, gets a bit over exuberant, leaves himself open to the counter, and he might be in trouble.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And like you say, he's Scottish, so he knows what he's doing. I think Andy Robertson wins that one.
I think he does. I think he's...
They and Lovren's stomach problems reoccur as Robbo plunges his fist right into his abdomen. Robbo is through into the three-man brawl. Next up, and it's one of our past masters returning from the last LFC Rumble, is Stephen Gerrard taking on the EU's Simon Mignolet.
Well, there's no contest, is there, really?
Yeah, but Stephen Gerrard's getting on a bit. Mignolet, goalkeepers, their careers generally last longer, could be just coming into his prime.
This is true.
He's got to at some point, surely.
But, every man, no matter how wonderful they are, can be educated more, and women, and child, and everybody can be educated more no matter what age they are in life. And we talked about Scotland, and you want a lesson in how to hold yourself in a fight. Stephen Gerrard's learning that up in Glasgow.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. God, there's a real Scottish dimension that's coming into play here.
It really is.
Also, let's not forget Stephen Gerrard has actual real life sort of bar fight experience. Nothing was ever proved. He was found not guilty, but let's just say
I don't think Simon Mignolet could literally lay a glove on him.
Thank you. On that magnificent pun, Stephen Gerrard is through, and so. The EU's not going to be. Europe's not coming on very well here in the sort of UK EU Rumble. So from one ex-captain to our current captain, Jordan Henderson steps into the ring to face off with Loris Karius.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Now, Henderson's got a pretty blemished injury record himself, but we know that Karius doesn't perform very well when he's even marginally concussed.
Yeah, and under any kind of pressure. Really, but then Jordan Henderson has as we've proved this month, has the ability to lose his head when he needs to keep his cool.
Yeah, he does,
and that's it's not clever.
But when he loses his head, he takes people down. Which, it's bad when you're trying to win a football game, but when you're trying to win a fight, it's an admirable skill.
Yeah, I do. Because Karius isn't a small guy; he's a big guy. He can really look after himself, but I think he'd worry too much about the hair. Yeah,
I think knock him in the head and he crumbles.
Yeah. There's a lot you can unpack with that, but let's deal with that.
Yes. A, because, easily concussed. B, because of the hair, doesn't have a hair getting messed up. Let's not dwell on that.
Let's save that for another time.
Yeah.
You missed that pun too.
Hey, there we are. Okay, should we say Henderson's proven?
I think so, we have to.
Guys, it's a clean sweep for British Isles so far. Okay, we've got an interesting tie here because, looking forward into the next round, it's just the first three go into the three-man brawl. So we've got to look forward to. We've got a Robbo, Gerrard and Henderson pile-up coming along.
Blimey.
Yeah, that'll be fun. But next up, in the next first round tie, it's James Milner taking on another former Liverpool captain, Sami Hyypiä.
Oh, blimey. Oh, you see, now, you sort of instinctively think it'll be Milner, but actually, which Milner are we talking about?
James Milner.
Oh, but which version of James Milner?
Well, there's only one James Milner, Matt.
There is. The Ribena-fueled titan that is James Milner. Who can, who is seemingly endless in his physicality. But, Sami Hyypiä he is arguably one of the smartest, most agile and intelligent, fighters we've had in a very long time. Doing fairly reasonably at management level. I think,
Brighton fans may disagree with you there.
Yeah, but Bayer Leverkusen seem to like him. And, back in his prime, he was almost unstoppable.
He was a titan, and I get the feeling, Milner's fueled by Ribena and sort of ironing, but I don't know if it's gonna help him in a fight. He's got that kind of stocky Yorkshire Terrier angle, but
I don't see him as being a quality fighter.
I'm going to say 2 words: scrappy do.
Well, maybe you're right.
Sammy Hippie just needs to put his hand on James Milner's forehead, and James Milner won't be able to get near him. That thing, he'll just be leaning over, swinging, and he can just hold him back.
I think it's an upset, but I think Hippie might win it.
Yeah, well, I think I mean, we finally found a decent European fighter.
Yeah.
Sammy Hippier doing what Day and Lovren couldn't, again and again and again. Okay, into the next head-to-head then. And it's the first Welshman in the contest we've had so far. Joe Allen, representing whatever Wales' nickname is, Dragons, in a tussle with Emre Can.
You see, you'd think Emre Can, because he is a physically quite superior being. Mentally, he's weak and pathetic and a snake, but physically, he can hold himself among giants and gods. So,
Joe Allen's mentally very sharp, but physically quite small and not impressive.
Yeah, I don't quite know what Joe Allen. You always sort of think you know what you're going to get with Joe Allen, and you don't.
Yeah, chickens. You get a lot of chickens.
But do you get
Sorry, go on.
Do you get a lot of fighting?
Don't know. I mean, he looks like a man who may have been to a cockfight or two. In his poultry, in his position as a poultry fan, I feel that's very important. I clarify what I mean by that statement.
Well, it's a poultry statement you made. I'm on fire. Just on fire, dude.
Oh, if only.
That's rather cruel.
It is. I'm sorry.
And round 4 is Owen Collins versus Matt Simpson.
Owen Collins setting fire to Matt. No, I won't set you on fire. Well, I think we're pushing towards an Emre Can victory here as much as we
can't.
Yeah,
surely by default, really.
By default, well, okay. Emre Can is through to the next round. Okay, round 6, and it's the perennial. Well, I won't say what is a perennial. Nathaniel Klein versus Alberto Moreno, the contest of the forgotten fullbacks.
Now, where did Alberto Moreno grow up?
Spain, presumably.
Yes, duh. Like, Klein grew up in England, but, Klein grew up in South London. Now, South London, as I can be testament to, having lived here for 5 years, is an area that you live and survive in rather than live and thrive in.
God, that's harsh.
I'm just saying, you've got to...
You live in a really nice flat.
Yes, in a rough part of town.
Opposite the train station.
Yes.
And a pub where it's £4.50 for a can of beer.
Yes, I'm in London. I'm not in Penbra, so... all I'm saying is, and particularly when he grew up, it wasn't like this 20 years ago.
No, true.
And you look at him. That is a man who, he doesn't need to be hyped up anymore, because he's plenty hyped up as enough as it is. The only thing you say about Alberto Moreno is he's got a monkey with a gun tattoo, and you don't mess with a man with a monkey with a gun tattoo.
He's got a monkey with a gun tattoo.
Yeah, tattoo of a monkey with a gun.
Has he?
You told me this!
I did tell you this. I thought it sounded familiar.
You told me this in one of the games we played. And I didn't believe you. Call my claffs. How did you forget?
Alberto Moreno this is, isn't it?
Yes!
Yes, sorry, I got confused then. I thought you were talking about Nathaniel Klein.
No!
He does have a monkey with a gun tattoo. I was thinking, Nathaniel Klein doesn't have a monkey with a gun tattoo. I then realised what you meant Moreno.
You told me that.
I'm just looking at another photo of it. It's bloody awful.
It is.
Because it's wearing John Lennon glasses. And it's on his leg. Does this... I've completely forgotten he had it, to be honest. Does he? Does that help him in a fight?
You wouldn't mess with him, would you?
Well, I wouldn't mess with a monkey, but I don't know if that would stop me messing with Alberto Moreno. He's clearly not of sound mind.
No, I think
Not that that's how I pick who I mess with. By the way,
there would be a lot of arm flailing and a lot of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, wouldn't there?
there would, which I think would be to Nathaniel Klein's advantage. But being in the wrong place at the wrong time is surely an improvement on being nowhere seemingly all of the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a very defensive tactic for Nathaniel Klein. You can't argue with that. But I think he would probably just about offer enough.
Fine.
Yeah.
He's solid and he's dependable. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Nathaniel Klein takes this one.
I think he does.
And he goes into a three-way head-to-head with Sammy Hippie and Emre Can. That'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
difficult to call that one.
We're staying at the back, and it's time for the free initial challenge. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold versus Virgil van Dijk.
I mean, whilst I love our boy from down the road in Liverpool,
Two-thirds of a beast.
I mean, VVD is the bookie's favourite in this competition generally.
He is. I think he'd snap him like a twig, if I'm honest.
I don't think he would, because he's a gentle giant. I think he'd do enough damage just to make sure he won.
Don't forget, though, Trent Alexander-Arnold, very skilled in chess. He knows he's always thinking a couple of steps ahead. That could help him.
He's a tactical master, but unfortunately, I think he'd be better as a manager.
I think he might also be snapped like a twig.
Yeah.
It's Virgil van Dijk then goes through.
Yeah, the bookies' favourites don't are that for a reason, and he's got to go through. I think
This is true. Okay,
unlucky draw for Trent. That's what I'm saying.
That is unlucky draw. Potentially another unlucky draw here. Joe Gomez versus our probably our newest signing, who's in this fight. Given that we signed 2 South Americans and an African in the summer as well. It was Xherdan Shaqiri versus Joe Gomez. Talk me through your thoughts.
This is another James Milner situation, isn't it?
I think it might be.
The thing is, Joe is so quiet and so within himself, but he's so explosive when he needs to be.
He is, but I think his injury record would count against him. Where Shaqiri is,
we've not been counting injury records though, have we?
Well,
otherwise Nathaniel Klein wouldn't have gone through.
Well, I think even an injured Nathaniel Klein's better than a.
Well, yeah, but then I'm better than I'll bet Marino on my day, so.
That's true, and you're on fire.
Evidently so. So.
All I'm saying is, Gomez is susceptible to an old twinge here and there. Shaqiri is, a much more thicker built.
Well, he is. He is literally he's a stocky character.
He is
built like a brick shithouse.
A brick shithouse.
Brick shit. Better than you calling him like a toilet.
Yeah. Well, he's built like a toilet. I stand by that.
Whatever happened to Conor Randall?
He's at Rochdale, isn't he?
I think he might be. Yeah.
He's another person who I completely forget. Not only still exists, but is currently still officially a Liverpool player. Well, I like Joe Gomez, but I think without Virgil van Dijk next to him, he might not be quite so strong. So I think my money's on Shaqiri for this one.
Do you know what? All right, I can't call it, and I think Shaqiri went on points on some.
Shaqiri through on points, and then it's this is. I've realised this is quite a long contest because I was trying to find a way to make maths work. So we'll canter on. Harry Wilson versus Gini Wijnaldum.
Well, they're two nice people.
I know, but Matt, someone's put something in the lasagna. They're fighting. only one of them can get through.
Got more punch. I think Gini's just physically stronger all around, and I think Harry's a bit too young and a bit too
inexperienced in fighting.
Yeah, and I mean, Gini's got a lot of tattoos, a lot more than you imagine he does.
I love how that is now just the fallback definition for hard. He's just having lots of tattoos.
Mate, getting all those needles stabbed in your arm. As a diabetic, I tell you, it's not fun.
Well, no, I mean, I'm glad I'm neither obsessed with tattoos or diabetic.
Thanks.
Well, no, only because I don't like needles.
Right, yeah, that's true.
It's nothing against people who are diabetic in the slightest. It's just I wouldn't like to inject myself regularly.
Yes, well, yeah.
Anyway, Ben Woodburn, staying with a lone Welshman, versus Laser Markovic. Interesting one here.
The thing is, Ben Woodburn has a similar problem to Wilson, and I think Lazar Markovic is so pissed off and fed up with his lot in life that he would just explode into a fit of rage.
See, I don't disagree, but Ben Woodburn's having a really unsuccessful loan spell at Sheffield United.
Yeah, I guess he has a similar thing.
I think he'd be really angry as well. He's got something to prove, whereas Markovic has sort of given up.
Has he shaved his hair off, Ben Woodburn, as well?
Has he?
I'm pretty sure I saw a picture of him recently and he shaved his hair off. That makes you a bit harder.
Yeah.
God, this is the most homoerotic feature we do.
Oh, he's got tattoos and a shaven head. He's hard.
Yeah. We're gonna have a pilot with 3 men.
I reckon, without being rude, Markovic has been on the sidelines so long, he's got muscular atrophy. So
You can't get out of his seat.
I reckon it's Woodburn just punching him while he sat down. Shall we go for Woodburn?
Yeah, right. Go on.
Go on. Daniel Sturridge versus Robbie Keane.
Oh bloody hell! Robbie Keane played for us. Daniel Sturridge is so brittle.
Yeah,
he'd have to literally be like Muhammad Ali, wouldn't he, to win a fight?
Oh, thank God! I wondered where you were going with that for a minute. I thought you were making some awful Parkinson's reference.
No! I mean Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer that's ever lived.
Yeah, okay, good.
I'm just checking. You could float like a butterfly and sting like a bit. Like what? No!
Didn't you say float like a butterfly, sting like a bitch?
Like a bee. Stop thinking weird things. What's wrong with you?
It's 20 to 2 in the morning. I'm tired.
It's actually 25 past 1, but there we
go. I can't even see anymore.
No, I think Daniel Sturridge is too brittle, and I don't think he'd be able to dodge enough because like luck of the Irish as well. You've got to think about that. And
Robbie Keane's only just retired. He's got a lot of stamina there.
Oh, he's lasted forever. It's ridiculous how long he went for.
In fact, we should mention in November we saw the retirements of 2 former Liverpool players, both of whom had quite disappointing Liverpool careers, in Robbie Keane and Joe Cole. So we wish them both well.
Absolutely.
So if we're putting Robbie Keane from that one?
Absolutely.
Cool. The Irish strike again, as they have done so often over the last couple of years. And finally, for the first round, John Anorisa versus... I had Danny Murphy written down, but I've subbed him off and put Joe Cole on. Because he's just retired and he's got nothing else to do. So Joe Cole versus John Anorisa.
So he can get into a fight with John Anorisa.
Yeah.
Whose left peg would boot him out of the park in minutes.
I mean, John Anorisa broke people's legs just when he was having a shot on goal. God knows what would happen if he tried fighting someone.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with John Anorisa, actually.
It's got to be Risa, hasn't
it? You've literally gone, I'm going to sub Joe Cole on. Bang! Okay, he's gone.
The man's got like a 12-pack. Yeah. Okay. We're into round 2 then, and it's time for the 3-way rumbles. Are we ready?
Okay.
Now remember, only one can go through out of these 3. So they've not just got to take down 1 player; they've got to take down 2.
Yeah. Stamina counts here.
Stamina counts, and you've got to be strong to get to the semi-finals. First one: Andy Robertson, Steven Gerrard, Jordan Henderson.
I mean, this is tough.
It is tough.
I think you look at it, and I think you've basically got the man who shouts a lot, the man who can run a lot, and the man who's got everything. Now you work out which one's which. The problem is Steven Gerrard's older, and he was struggling with fitness towards the end of his career.
He was.
I think in a 3-way fight, Jordan Henderson would probably lose his head.
But I think we've got to remember that losing your head is an advantage. It goes full on berserker. Swinging the fists around. That's a talent.
But we just talked about stamina, and I think Andy Robertson has more stamina than anyone else in the squad. I think if you're gonna have somebody to last the fight, okay, he's a bit smaller and a bit brittler, but he will keep going.
He'll keep going. He can run, but I don't know if he can. I don't know if his stamina extends to fighting. He can run and run and run, but eventually he's going to tire. At which point, Gerrard, maybe not been running so long. One good wallop, Robbo down.
Ooh, I personally would say it's between Gerrard and Robertson.
Yeah, I think Henderson's fallen by the wayside here.
Yeah, I think he's been taking a few knocks, and I think he's overexerted himself too early.
I think what we got to look at, we got to fall back on this again without getting stereotypical and xenophobic and all that. We got to look back on the Scottish issue, and I think Robbo's had almost a whole life of Scottish fighting. Gerrard's only had a few months. I think that might be the advantage here.
But saying that, Stevie G was, he's
got previous.
Steve Gerrard. He's red and he's hard.
Hard, yeah.
He passed the ball 40 yards. Steve Gerrard.
But it's possible that Robertson is every bit as hard. It just doesn't rhyme with his surname.
Oh, Andy Robertson. That's the only song of his I can think of.
Yeah.
Who are you giving it to? I think you need to call this because it's going to be on points either way.
It's going to be on points. I don't have any money on me to toss for it. I don't think. Should we give it to Robbo? I think the exuberance of youth.
Yeah, I said it's stamina. I told you it's stamina thing.
Yeah. Okay. Robbo, it is.
In the semi-final.
Right.
Next.
Next up, this will be a good one. Sammy Hippier, Emre Can, and Nathaniel Klein.
This is an odd one, isn't it?
This is an odd one.
Like, it's kind of got like, I don't know. Like anything could happen here. I'm just trying to think like, I think Sammy Hippier has the distinct height and physical advantage. Emre Can, I don't think mentally he's up for it. I think he'd rather go and swan off somewhere and not be a part of this anymore. You know, I think he'd just take the money and run, you know, and not really care about anything that was going on, because he's a snake. And then that would leave Nathaniel Klein, who maybe fitness issues are a problem. You talk about stamina, you talk about quality, you talk about the ability to fight. You know, he grew up a South London boy, which talked about, you know, it brings its own things. You know, Finland's not exactly known for being an aggressive country. In fact, they're one of the most laid-back countries on earth. However, Sammy Hippier was a bully and ran a game through intelligence and guile and physicality. So, surely it'd be him.
Yeah, and also you got to think that all that cocaine has got to slow you down, really.
Well, it will speed you up for a while, and then
then the come down.
Yeah,
and Hippier, like you say, he's tactical. He will wait for the come down to strike, and then bang, you know.
Yeah,
4 fingers in the eyes. Oof.
It's just withstanding that original onslaught, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
I think he could.
I think Emre Can, you know, would suffer the onslaught. 'Cause, you know, I think Klein would get coked up, basically demolish Emre Can, and then by the time the come down comes in, Hippie is ready. Smack down.
Yeah, takes it the last.
Okay, Hippie is through to the semi-finals.
Good, well deserved.
Next up, an interesting one. It's Double Dutch taking on the Swiss Roll. It's Virgil van Dijk, Gini Wijnaldum, and Xherdan Shaqiri.
God, I think I've seen a film about that on the internet.
Yeah, I think you told me about it before. It's a very weird conversation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't often share these things with you, but sometimes, you know, needs must.
You can't resist.
It's hard to look past Virgil van Dijk. I mean, he could pick up Wijnaldum and Shaqiri, you know, and use them like, you know, bash them together. You could.
Say that again.
He could pick them up like two sort of toys and just smack them together.
Van Dijk would.
Yeah.
Has he got that strong arms? Do you think?
I mean, look at him. Of course he has. He's magnificent.
I mean, he's very magnificent. But
I mean, I can't see how Wijnaldum was going to beat Virgil van Dijk in any category. You know, Shaqiri would have to use agility, his power, his movement, and his guile. But Virgil van Dijk doesn't worry about that, does he? Like, it doesn't matter where anyone is, you know? It doesn't matter where anyone is, what anyone's trying to do. He'll be there, he'll get in front, he'll do what needs to be done. He'll make it look easy. I mean, he can't lose here, not surely.
I think you might be right. I don't know, I'm wondering if Shaqiri's going to surprise us all. I mean, he surprised us when he came from Stoke, but
he did. But you know, you can't beat perfection.
It's a bold claim, but I think I agree with the general thrust of your arguments.
I just don't think Shaqiri's got enough. You know, yeah. And also he's small. He's smaller. It takes him longer to cover the same amount of ground.
True. Wijnaldum's definitely not going to get past both of them.
He doesn't want to fight. He's too nice.
Yeah,
he just smiles his way through things. Like, yeah, I'll find a way about it.
Genie's going to bottle it. So Virgil van Dijk through to the semi-finals.
Genie in a bottle. Did you mean that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you sort of brushed past it so quickly, I thought you were ignoring it.
Well, I didn't want to dwell in case it wasn't funny.
No, but it wasn't, but I enjoyed it.
You know me, I struggle to tell these days. Okay, final contest then of this round. Ben Woodburn, Robbie Keane, and John Onorisa.
Blimey, that's a mix.
It is, isn't it? It's a very strange one.
I think Ben Woodburn's automatically out.
Yeah,
I think he's too far. I think he's just not. He's not strong enough.
It's Robbie Keane then, or John Onorisa. Robbie Keane's had a career spanning over 20 years. John Onorisa struggled with injury in his later years, but in his heyday was incredibly powerful.
Yeah, you know.
But he was also ginger.
What's that meant to mean?
Stating fact.
But you don't put a but as in it's a pejorative thing.
No, it's good use of pejorative though. But
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, if it makes you feel better, Robbie Keane's Irish.
But
Irish people
he's
are genetically more likely to be ginger. Maybe they would just get married instead. It's legal in Ireland now.
What, to marry a ginger person?
Well, and that, yeah. That's not really what I meant, but yeah. I don't think that was ever illegal. I don't know if it's equal marriage is legal in Norway. I can have a look. Yes, it is legal in Norway, just as in case anyone's wondering.
I think that, I think John Onorisa, it would just be too tough for Robbie Keane. I don't think Robbie Keane's got enough in his game. The one thing he struggled with was always just being able to mix things up. He kind of had one way of playing, and it didn't work for Liverpool for that very reason. And, I think John Onorisa will be able to manipulate that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think physically he's just got too much for Keano. It's interesting when that sets us up into the semi-finals, where we've got two current players, two former players, all defenders.
Well, they are, usually the toughest members of the team.
And in this, in what started off as a really kind of, because it was UK versus EU, started off all the UK, and then the balance has shifted and shifted and shifted, and there's only one UK player left in, which is Andy Robertson, who takes on Sammy Hippier in the first semi-final. What do you think?
Youth versus experience, isn't it? But,
yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Sort of either side of the North Sea, one got a wide. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not far away from each other, really.
Well, I mean, I think they're further away than I realised when I said that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where are you looking at this one? It's a tough one.
It is. Hippier was strong, but he wasn't really Hippier was a much more physical player than Robbo. Robbo is, good tackler, but he's more of a marauding fullback than a biting one. I think Hippier is going to edge this.
That means that it's going to be an EU victory.
It does.
The irony of Finland not being in the EU, but there we go.
Yes, that's true. No, it is, isn't it?
No,
it is.
Finland's not in the EU.
My brother just come back from it.
They're on the EEC, aren't they? Whatever it is, the Norway model, whatever they called it.
Well, no, it's Norway, isn't it, you fool? That's why it's called the Norway model.
All Scandinavia wasn't in Europe, is it? Or maybe it is.
Yeah, pretty sure Finland is. I think they use euros.
Oh, there we go. Maybe I'm wrong. My mistake. I apologise.
Yeah, they joined in 1995.
There you go.
I do, but of course, like you say, Norway isn't, so I'm not sure how John Onorisa made it into this.
There you go.
Well, there's a Norway model, isn't it? I was about to say, I do my research, Matt, and then I saw John Onorisa's name written down in front of me.
Oh, dear.
Oh, it's late. I think Hippier's probably got this,
Poor Andy Robertson, but yeah, I think you're right.
As I say, I think there's a certain prophecy in this, but the EU are regaining the power. And so this would be an interesting one. Two very hard defenders. Virgil van Dijk versus John Onorisa.
Again, the most homoerotic thing we've ever done.
That's pushing it. In the last round, you called Virgil van Dijk perfection.
I did. And I definitely think he's got too much for Onorisa.
I agree. I think Risa would give him a good go, but I think...
So euphemistic.
Oh God, we need to stop this feature.
yeah, we need to stop the podcast.
Virgil van Dijk has overcome Risa.
Yes, he's strong-armed him and brought him down, and he's ready to have one last go.
He's ready to have another pump at victory.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the final, I'm assuming now.
Final, yeah. Finland versus Holland. Sammy Hippier versus Virgil van Dijk.
I mean, that would have been one hell of a centre-back partnership.
It would have been, wouldn't it? I mean, it's almost worth just cancelling the fighting and saying we finally found our fantasy centre-backs.
But no, there must be one winner.
I should say, actually, if any listeners, before you all tweet in and say, where's Jamie Carragher in this massive fight, he's actually been banned from this one for spitting. So he's had to sit this one out.
Yeah.
Right, back to the fight. Sam Hippier swinging with all the power that only a Finnish person can muster. Virgil van Dijk, calm, composed, majestic. Not really fighty, but very strong physically.
Efficient.
Dutch.
Makes it look easy as well.
Mm.
You know?
But got a silly haircut.
That's not got a lot to do with it, has it?
No, but if he wanted to, Hippier could grab him by the ponytail and bring him down, give him whiplash.
Well, Sammy Hippier's got quite long hair, though.
Well, not as long as Virgil van Dijk, though. He's not got
true.
any... He couldn't get any purchase on it at the back.
No, no, that is very true.
Should you be after that kind of thing?
What the hell is happening? Oh, we've all lost our minds today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to this, if you're still here.
Yes.
To the one person still listening.
That's me.
And the two people who started listening. Right. Let's settle this. I can't see past Virgil van Dijk though.
I see. No, I think Hippier's got this.
I don't. I really don't. Hippier in his prime or Van Dijk in his prime. I mean, admittedly, it's hard to tell because we're in the where we're seeing Van Dijk today, so he's fresh on our minds. But at the same time, we remember the whole of Hippier's career. So
yeah,
that's a difficult one to judge, you know.
I think Hippier is a more angry player than Van Dijk. Van Dijk doesn't do angry. He's calm. Has he ever even?
No, Van Dijk does angry. He's yelling and shouting at people when he needs to.
Him yell, but not in a way that would help him in a fight.
I've never seen Hippier angry.
Yeah, but Hippier got sent off a few times. That's got to count for something.
Van Dijk should have got sent off earlier this month.
No, that was justified.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to Google Hippier angry, and if I can find one, I'll give it to you.
I think it's going to be a points decision, isn't it?
However, I've just done Hippier angry, and I can't see a single image of him angry. It's all smiling, happy Hippier. Happy Hippier. I mean, his name sounds like happy.
Yeah, but I reckon if you type
I've
Van
just
Dijk
Googled.
angry,
I got 3 already. I've also just found one of him in a Southampton shirt punching Paul Pogba in the face, which is always nice.
You've not, have you?
Yes, I have.
What did you search for that? Van Dijk angry?
Yeah, just Van Dijk angry on Google. The first 2 images are him angry.
Oh, he is as well.
The sixth one is him punching Pogba in the face.
Right in the chops.
Surely that's enough. Surely.
I think that's a points decision made. I think based on just the judges are favourable to anyone who will give Paul Pogba a slap. Well, in his first ever NFC Rumble, I think the bout goes to Virgil van Dijk.
I think very well deserved. Very, very well deserved.
With one big Virg.
Who won it last year? Was it Steven Gerrard? Or was it Alan Hansen?
I can't for the life of me remember.
I feel like it was one of them two. I think it might be Stevie G.
Yeah. I think it might have been Stevie G.
Yeah, so he'd have to hand the belt over. Much like he did for his number 8 shirt to Navigator.
Yes. So that was a shirt, not a belt. But yes.
It's still items of clothing, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Navigator's shorts are falling down, and I'm just going to stop with the homoerotic imagery now.
I think
it's turning into an epidemic.
We really need to end the podcast now, so that's what we're going to do.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to this 3 hours of trite. We really do appreciate anyone listening, anyone who downloads it. Tell a friend, pass the podcast around, do it. So tell people we really, want to get more people listening. We spend far too long in the middle of the night doing this, then we have to go to work tomorrow and feel tired. So please, for the love of God, download it. Subscribe on iTunes, most important thing. If you want to follow us or chat to us about anything you've heard over the course of the last couple of hours, I am at MTH Simpson.
I am at OGB Collins.
Or you can find us on YouTube as well, or search at Plastic Scousers for our completely abandoned Twitter account that still exists. Have I missed anything else out? Just Google us, you'll find us somewhere.
Yes, that's probably the best advice.
Yes, absolutely.
Google.
And next month, of course, it will be December and the Christmas New Year Spectacular. So the next time we'll be talking to you is in 2019. There's a lot of football coming up, Owen.
There is. You might have to start earlier in the evening, but it'll be fun. It'll be definitive. Whatever happens in the season will hinge on December.
Exactly. But until then, again, thank you very much for listening. And that's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
And it's also a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from them.
And from Owen.
And us.
And me.
And him.
Me.
And you.
Oh, I am a Liverpudlian, and I come from the Spion Cup. I love to sing, I love to shout, I get thrown out quite a lot. We support the team that's dressed in red. It's a team that you all know. It's a team that we call Liverpool, and to glory we will go. We've won the league.